All right.
Welcome to Dark Dial.
Welcome to Dark Dial. Sorry for the late start.
We had some minor technical difficulties that I'm not sure were completely in our heads or not, but we've got them fixed either way, so you should be seeing us everywhere that you can see us.
I'll be real with you guys. It was that on-air sign. It just wouldn't light up. It was flickering. It's throwing everything off, so
True.
we can't do it without the on-air sign.
It's a necessary part. It's honestly become part of the family, you know?
Yeah. No doubt. All right. Good. Let's get a little mood. Is that a little mood here?
Yeah, I don't know where the music went.
There we go.
All right, but while he is getting the music set up, we do have some interesting things to cover with everybody tonight. We've got some updates on the video that we covered last week. We've uncovered some information and a clearer view of the satellite footage that shows some interesting coordinates in relation to some U.S. intelligence satellites that may or may not be operating in the area that those coordinates dictate. We've also got a bit of an interesting find on something called the All Domain Anomaly Resolution Office. That is a government office that was launched, I believe, last year, and it is... You could think of it almost as the SCP Foundation for the U.S. government. It's very interesting. So we're gonna cover an article about the launching of that program, and then their recent website they've opened that actually has some interesting finds. There's some videos and some articles that we can cover on that are gonna be quite interesting. And Gavin, I believe you've also got some things for us to go over.
Yeah, we did get one voicemail while we were off air, and we were gonna address that at least a little bit. I did a little bit of research into it, so that'll be cool.
No doubt.
I got a hint for you. It rhymes with Mothman prophecies.
Oh,
it rhymes with prophecies.
You know, I'm bad at rhyming.
Yeah, it did not work for me.
No, I just can't figure out what it would be. You're fine.
So the UAP stuff you were talking about, we did cover that last episode. We clipped some of it, so some of it's up on like YouTube and Rumble.
Yeah, we've got a little bit of the raw footage out there, but there's been a couple more video finds. I've got one in particular that we're going to show on air tonight. The other finds will be added into the show archives, as will everything after the end of the show on darkdial.com, so make sure to check that out to see even more footage that we're not able to cover on the show if we don't get the time to. But it shows three things of note in the video.
Real quick, before we go into that,
yeah,
let's just get the bookkeeping out of the way. I'm Gavin Green. You can follow me wherever.
I'm Chance. How you doing?
That's Chance. You can find him.
You'll be
on
able
things.
to follow me places eventually. Promise.
I mean, you can reach out to any of us on the darkdial.com website, register for the forum. We want to hear your stories, yada yada.
Oh yeah, I'm Jacqueline, and I'm Cryptic J on most profiles that you can find me on.
You want to do the thing?
Oh God, I haven't practiced the thing, but we can try the thing. All right. Ooh. Boom.
Do we subscribe?
It's a cool
I can't
animation.
like, subscribe.
How do weathermen do this?
I
I don't
Here's
understand.
going again.
They're looking at a giant green block, right? Oh, we're doing it again?
Oh, I already did. Third time?
Hold
Really?
yeah, third time.
There you go.
Boom.
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 Boom. Hey, if we do it 3 times, it's significant, right?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. That way, I don't have a family member that dies in their sleep because of my very rigid OCD.
Exactly.
No, really.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, you should talk to a doctor about that.
Do I have to?
No.
Okay, good.
So we want to go ahead and dive in.
I mean, you want to go straight into that?
I'm not sure. Well, I've got kind of a wild video If we wanna run to the forums real quick, there's something kind of wacky. It has nothing to do with any of the topics we're discussing tonight, but I saw it, and the pucker factor of this video is just absolutely through the roof.
Okay.
I have never seen something that has made me more tense.
Okay, donut operator. Where is it at?
It's gonna be in off-topic discussion over there.
France.
Yeah, sure.
Oh.
I'm loving these jams
Now,
tonight.
if I'm not mistaken, this is footage coming straight off of the front lines in Ukraine. There's no injury, no death in this video, so anyone watching, you don't have to worry. There's no real content warning, but it is a bit frightening what goes down in this.
Their audio.
Oh no, there's not. Oh my god.
Dude, he crawls down quick.
That is, I have never seen a more
Holy cow.
like 1 in a million, twice in a row kind of thing. It hits square in the middle of that tree and falls exactly right back into his hand.
This is in Ukraine.
Yeah, this sure enough is. This came out probably 2 or 3 weeks ago off of a Telegram group.
So this guy's trying to throw a grenade and he bounces off a tree and he manages to catch it mid-air
and sling it away
and
from himself.
sling it away and get down into like
crazy.
a little foxhole.
Absolutely wild, man.
Holy cow. I'm glad I'm not there right now.
You and me both. You and me both.
Yeah. Oh man. I mean, like, this is the kind of real stuff that you don't see much when it comes to anything Ukraine war. Like,
I'll tell you what, I don't want to get too into it on stream right now, but this is the most televised war I think that we have ever seen. There's more stuff like this coming out of it than we even saw back in Afghanistan and Iraq. The things coming out of there.
it's like every war progressively they say that, but that's because there's more and more cameras on the planet
no doubt.
every single time. So.
But yeah, I just wanted to take a look.
Did you have a chair malfunction?
Huh?
Did you just have that chair malfunction we talked about?
I did have that chair
Yeah, that was
malfunction.
quick. That was quick. We'll clip that later.
Within like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's some wild stuff.
That is truly wild. All right, well, should I pull up some of our UAP?
Yeah, absolutely. If you want to pull up that first video I sent you. So we've
This
got
one, right?
yeah.
Okay. Set this up before I pull it up because this is crazy.
So
Well, it calls back on a couple of things, so I might jump in here.
it does, yeah, absolutely. Please interject if you think I am missing anything or you want to fill something in. So
Yeah.
this is a video, one of the satellite videos that we showed last week on air. It's the overhead view, the almost black and white camera style. However, what we weren't able to see in the video last week that we are now able to see in this video.
Which, if you want to see that video that we went on and on about last week, we haven't created a segment out of our commentary on it yet. You can watch it on episode 1, but you uploaded the raw footage.
I do.
Right?
We do have the raw footage uploaded, that and a few extras as well uploaded, and we'll probably end up having a part 2 for the raw footage because I've come across 5 or 6 new variants of this video that I find interesting enough to delineate them from the old ones and give you guys some more footage to watch on that.
The raw footage that you uploaded to our YouTube channel, that's the one we went over, though, right?
Yes,
The
correct,
exact one?
correct. The
Okay.
very first one on the raw footage. That raw footage that I uploaded recently is a compilation of, I believe, 4 or 5 videos. The very, very first one in that compilation is the one that we went over on air last week.
I feel like it might be pertinent for us to watch that again, just real quick.
Take a look.
Yeah, just in case somebody's gonna watch this, just so that they're not completely
Yeah, of
lost.
course, of course.
Let me get it pulled up here.
It wasn't the first one. I do apologize.
What do you mean? This isn't the first one we watched?
No. If it's gonna
close,
be,
though. All right, well,
it's-
let's watch
yeah.
this one anyway. Full screen this. Let's check this out.
So the point to delineate between this one and the one that we're going to look at momentarily is that satellite view over there on the right. That is not the entire window that video normally takes place in, and we actually have a video reference of the full window that takes place in. So we're going to go ahead and watch this, and then we'll talk about some interesting differences between the two videos and kind of where that leads us into investigatory territory after that.
What kills me about this is we went on and on about that one last week, and somehow there's other footage of the same thing.
Yeah, well, it's the same footage. There's only one video that I can find that has actual differences to these two. Everything else are different cuts of the same footage. You see how this one is motion tracked and stabilized?
Okay.
There's variants of it that don't have that stabilization. There's a few variants of it that are at a higher resolution and show more of the frame. So there's a couple of different almost cuts to this footage, and as many of those as I can collect as possible to put out there, I think the better, because then the differences between those cuts, if any, can be investigated, and something within that might be found is my thought on collecting those.
So before we get too wonkish about the video itself, you know, this clearly looks like a commercial airliner, and it's being surrounded by orbs,
Yes.
UFOs, objects of some kind.
Some kind.
So we're presumably looking at a UFO footage, and we believe this was connected to that lost Malaysian Airlines flight.
Absolutely, and the MH370.
MH370.
And the footage that we are going to witness in a moment actually has a few more ties into that. It lends a bit more credence to that theory. Nothing extremely concrete, but evidence that points in a direction towards that being an actual possibility.
Yeah. Yeah, I think this was the one we watched last week. That first clip from presumably, what's crazy about this is how was this filmed from so many different angles?
This next one actually is the only one that I can find a difference in. There is
Well, when we first
there's almost a targeting reticle in this one.
Oh, I see
This
it.
is like complete black and white FLIR.
okay.
And this is filmed at the same
It's so
altitude
compelling.
level as the rainbow FLIR, which makes me think this is the same vehicle
Yeah, just
using a
different cameras.
different camera.
That makes sense.
And this is the only reference. That is the only
That's-
reference I can find in that view of that angle.
That's just so much footage from so many different angles for this not. Like, I was very dismissive of this last week, but the more you show this to me, the more I'm like, how could this not be something of substance, given the amount of attention this was getting?
Yes. Well, the interesting thing is it's only getting that attention now. This was dismissed in the I guess UFO community, you could say, as a long time as a hoax. For a very long time, like almost a decade. And just very recently has it now started gaining traction, and people are starting to take it seriously and investigate it. And I think a lot of that has to do with the UAP hearings that are going on right now, and the I guess almost soft disclosure that's been happening.
So that's about the end of the video. The part that got me here, as I try to do this blind, was at the beginning of this video. Oh, not this video.
Mark Stenhoff. What a guy, man. I tell you what.
Because I had seen most of this, but I hadn't seen this cut. And there's a point where
Let's
you
see.
can see the trails coming off of the orb that kind of blows me away.
that those trails are wild, man, and the motion tracking really helps you be able to visualize that, because without that it kind of gets garbled in the noise of the image itself.
I was trying to get to it.
And you can actually, if you look close enough, you can see the trails coming off of the plane are lighter in color.
Well, it looks like whatever.
Right there.
Yes, those trails, man.
That's,
oh my gosh.
That's wild. That right there is what makes me, like, one of the main reasons that has me not too skeptical on this video. You know, it...
Looks real
Because
to
the
me.
only way to achieve flight patterns like that is with propulsion tech that isn't publicly accessible, at least.
Those trails, that's wild. Because like, if that's an effect, that is one hell of an effect.
Isn't it, though? Isn't all of this one hell of an effect to be in 2014?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, I guess we're getting back into the weeds on the same video and we gawk at it.
No doubt. We'll move a little bit forward onto the this next satellite video. So this is actually in Wayback Machine page, an Internet Archive Wayback Machine page.
Which we went into this last week. That's what I was gonna say about Internet Archive and the Wayback Machine.
Yeah.
In the details about what they do. As
Yeah.
you can upload specific packages to the archive, or it has crawlers out there on the internet that will basically take a screenshot of that web page at a certain point in time, and you can go back and view those screenshots. It's not perfect, but there's a fair amount of stuff there that if it was up on the internet for, you know, more than a week, there's a good chance you might find it on the Wayback Machine here.
Have you already both seen this?
I have. I don't believe, Gavin, that I sent this one to you.
I saw part of it.
Okay, I still haven't seen it.
All right. So the difference in this video and the next video, to let you know and let everyone out there watching know, this video to the last one, we don't have in the bottom left corner that motion stabilized shot anymore. We actually have the full frame of that video, and there are some interesting things to note in the bottom. And if you want to go ahead and play it, we can take a look at those. So down in the bottom, very, very far bottom left of each of these stereoscopic panes here, we can see a block of text. If you were to zoom in on that block,
let me move this. Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, I'm sorry. If you were to zoom in on that block of text, you would essentially get a set of coordinates. And if you plug that set of coordinates into Google Maps or, you know, any mapping software of the like that can accept longitude and latitude, it will it will stick you in a location probably about, you know, 500 to 1,000 miles west of Malaysia. And there are some interesting things to note about why that set of coordinates lines up with the satellite, with sets of satellites in the area.
It's that same effect that we talked about having potentially been retconned last week from a different angle, which just blows my mind. It's a different angle, right?
That was not. That was the that was that top-down satellite view. And another thing that happens in the bottom of that video that's really, really hard to read.
Is there more here?
I don't believe so, no. So beyond just the coordinates, there's also text that says NROL-22. NROL-22 is a U.S. intelligence satellite that was launched. It was launched, I want to say, in 2013. I have a link for it that I sent you if you want to fact check that when we're done with this video. But it was launched, I know for a fact, before the Malaysian flight actually took off. And there are a couple other satellites that are also in the area that are part of the NROL project that... one being locked in geostationary orbit probably 200 miles northward of where the coordinates for this line up. and the other being locked in what was the actual flight path from Malaysian Airlines 370, which shows a straight flight from an airport in Malaysia straight to an airport in Beijing. It's about a 6-hour flight, and I've got the coordinates for all of that pulled up that we can take a look and see the differences in that flight path and where these coordinates line up with and where those satellites actually line up with as well.
So that was a lot for me to digest there, because we talked about this, but you're saying the trajectory of this flight intersected the trajectory of
one satellite,
a particular satellite.
There are 3 satellites of note, NROL 22. I'm sorry. And then there are 2 other NROL satellites. I don't remember their numbers off the top of my head, but we do have links to actually show their flight paths and where they're locked. One is geostationary, and it is about 200 miles north.
Geostationary means it's in high orbit.
And it is locked in place. It rotates with the Earth.
Yeah.
It stays in the same spot. And there's another one that is not geostationary. The one that is not geostationary, if you go to the second tab that we have up there, that one right there, yeah. This is the flight path that Malaysian Airlines Flight 370 should have taken. This is the 5-hour and 45-minute long flight from Kuala Lumpur Airport to Beijing Capital International Airport. And that was the route that it was supposed to take the day that it went missing. If you go to the tab after this, this is what we get when we plug the coordinates of the video that we just watched that were appearing at the bottom. This is the area that we get is about, I'd say, 500 to 1,000 miles diverted of that flight path. So that next tab.
Well, real quick, just for my benefit. It's not even supposed to be flying over that body of water. It's
not at all.
Going over the Gulf of Thailand.
Maybe there was a reason it went around. Storm.
And we did see what looked like a very, very hard bank in the video too, which is a very interesting maneuver for a commercial jetliner to take.
I just closed one. Oh well.
Oh. So this satellite right here was launched about 6 months before the Malaysian Airlines flight went missing, and it is part of the NROL program. And if you look at its flight path, it is roughly intersecting with the supposed actual flight path of MH370. These 2 particular satellites, this one and the next one I have to show you, are maximally to show that there were operating intelligence satellites in the area during the event taking place.
Trying to pull up that flight path again. There we are. Just so that we can compare.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we have where it's found, or where that video, where that video coordinates seem to line up to its intended flight path, to a potential intersection with this satellite.
Absolutely. And then the next satellite is positioned in geostationary orbit, probably about 200 miles north of the location.
Is this just another?
No,
this isn't
go ahead and hit search at the top. We need NROL 67. Not this one yet. Go back. Yeah, search at the top. Nope. Yeah, just hit search. And we are set. So this one right there, is positioned right over where we're at. And it's interesting, that satellite is interesting to me because it is at roughly the parallax angle that you would need to be at to see the plane banking that way. If you were to take a video from that high of an area, you'd need to be a little bit westward to be able to see the sides of the plane that you see in the video.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty close. We're at least talking about the same region. Wait, I mean, this to me isn't that compelling because, like I said, it's not even supposed to be going over the sea.
Check the weather on that date?
I have not seen it.
Maybe a reason it diverted.
That is a possibility. Check and see if there was anything inclement happening over the Gulf of Thailand.
Are you gonna look it up?
Yeah, I can do that. Last point on the satellite trio, real quick, that I want to get into is NROL 22, the satellite number that is on the video itself. If we look that up on this website, we are not able to find tracking for where it was, period. Not even just at the time that it existed, that this event was taking place, but just absolutely period. However, if you go, and I didn't send a link to this, I do apologize, but if you look up NRO 22 on Wikipedia, it is a satellite that is, it's able to be seen. Like, it is officially,
also known as NRO Launch
it's a thing.
22 or NROL 22, USA 184.
Dude, check actually USA 184. It might be under that.
Well, it's saying it's the same. Oh yeah, I see what you're saying.
I did not see that. What was I looking for again? I do apologize.
The weather for the date.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was the day this plane went down? MH370.
Nah, I'm not finding that either.
So it's interesting to me that we have the flight paths for other NROL satellites in the area. And we can see that they are in that area and they were launched before that plane went down, but we can't find any information on this satellite. It's interestingly convenient that where it was when it launched and what its mission plan was, is completely wiped out, just gone, just not there. I find that a little too funky for this video to be popping up with all of the things around this video. Why is that the one satellite that I can't find?
Well, I don't know, man, because that's I wish I knew more about tracking satellites. I mean, we've done this before, but what is standard practice when it comes to tracking a satellite like that? Is this, USA 184 or NROL 22? Is that just a satellite that isn't publicly tracked,
And it's a possibility that that's the case.
But then again, like, if it's in orbit, you can know it's orbit, right? Like, it's just math.
Yes, it's math, but being able to identify, like, at least for the layman, being able to look up, pick out an object with a telescope and identify it and do that math is not realistically going to be possible.
You tell that to the ham radio operators out there.
Hey, if any ham radio operators want to find out where this satellite's sitting, I would be very appreciative of that. If you do the math, if you figure it out, if you can ping this thing for me and get me coordinates on what its mission is supposed to be.
So just remind me here, because we went over 3 different satellites. This satellite is important because why?
This one, the 22?
Yeah.
So the NROL 22 is important because it is the moniker that was given to the satellite in text in that video.
Oh.
It is, and I think that video is actually cut off on the bottom. I think there is another Volt view that I couldn't quite find for reference tonight, but I will upload it in the show files.
Why would the satellite be referenced in that? Like, that's the uplink for it?
Like, that's its name. Either that or NROL might be a relay, and they were pulling that data off of a relay, because if you look, you can see that terminal, that cursor moving around. It's like, it's not a screen recording. So it might be that they're pulling it down from a relay, and that was the coordinates of the relay. And so that NROL might not have been the satellite that recorded it, but it might have been the relay where that information is coming off of.
I can't see that on my screen, but you're saying that's down there?
Yeah, I don't think it's down there in this cut of the video. I think just the coordinates are down there on the stereoscopic cut. But I do have a cut, and I'll put it in the show files, that does show NROL 22 at the bottom.
The consideration here is this is the only one actually named in the video, and it is the only one that we can't track that was in that area at that time.
Exactly.
So presumably this thing does some level of intelligence work that we're not allowed to be privy to. I mean, if it shot this video, I'd imagine.
That makes sense,
or not
right?
Shot this video, but linked, it pushed the data for this video around.
Isn't this like the third video we've seen where it flashes like that at the end?
A lot of them are just cuts of the same video, though. It does get confusing because it's like.
Like
so
at the
you-
very end, it like the plane just
yeah,
where
disappears
it
with the flash.
disappears. It's all
Is that
the effect.
okay?
Yeah, yeah.
Because I'm like,
Yeah.
is it different videos showing that?
No, this is all like one event.
But y'all think
essentially.
that part was put in the big flash?
No, I personally, I think the flash was like retroactively taken out of the video. I think that flash is real. I think whatever happened there caused that flash, and then they are now discrediting it retroactively by stuffing it into an Internet Archive file and saying it's been there the whole time. They ripped it out of the
Is that the
video.
only evidence, that Internet Archive file
Is
of
the
the
only-
blip is
yeah,
the only
no.
evidence of that graphical effect in
There
the past?
is apparently one YouTube video, and I will have to find the link for it. I did not come prepared because I didn't think of that question, but I will find the link and I will get that out to everyone. There is one YouTube video that shows that that effect for one frame at the very end of an obscure game from the 1990s, of a like 3.5 hour long playthrough. It shows one frame of that at the end of the end credits screen.
At the end of a game?
Yes.
Do you know the game's name?
No, I don't remember. I read this and I didn't save the link, and I've got to be better about saving links, man. But I will get that out. I don't
Well, you're
have it
on
right now.
so many. You're like at a schizophrenic level of going through these websites, so I don't blame you for not having the link. All right, should I go to the next tab here? Because I feel like we might have beaten this. I mean, like, we could go so deep on this.
We could. This next tab is going over it's just going over the coordinates. It lists them out in a readable
Okay.
format and
New
what's
satellite,
happening in that.
Okay.
So if anybody wants to pause and take a look at that, they
Yeah,
are more than
I'll come
welcome
back here.
to. But I think we're gonna go ahead and move. There is another image.
There you go. Now it's in view.
Gotcha.
So if you want to check out what we're talking about here, because this can get so, I don't know how to put it other than wonky, like the area of wonks.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
And the point of showing this was just to give us all a textified view of what the numbers on the video
Yeah.
were. But if we move on, we've got an interesting
When it
article.
stops getting fun, we get less interested in it. You know, like yeah, somebody can go out and do that really dirty level of drilling down those numbers and figuring out how data is pushed around these satellites. And if you do, please let us know on darkdial.com.
Yeah, because that's not my specialty, but I know someone out there knows what they're doing with it. So
Yeah. I don't know enough about how these satellites are traditionally tracked.
to tell you the truth, I don't either.
Speaking of satellites,
Yeah, so this is interesting, and it is there's a lot of discourse regarding these videos that we've been discussing for the past couple of weeks here, saying that it's nigh impossible for a satellite to be able to get the kind of quality that we're seeing in those videos, and this is a declassified photo.
Trump tweeted an image from a spy satellite. Declassified document shows, and this is from NPR. So
Sure enough, yeah, this isn't just like
this is from your state-run media, so you can trust it.
you can trust it 100%. But yeah, absolutely, this is showing footage from a spy satellite that, frankly, it should be a lot more difficult to achieve if we think about it. A plane is going to be flying in the air closer to a satellite. Am I wrong? So the plane should be even more in view. But what we're seeing here is that we've got satellites capable of putting this kind of resolution on the ground. So it makes 100% sense to me that a satellite that was launched in, say, 2006 would be able to resolve a plane at the resolution that we see in those videos, when the modern satellites that we've got circa 2018, 2019 are able to resolve this. That looks like about a decade's progress to me.
Yeah, no, I mean, absolutely. But I mean, when people say that, you have to understand the level of attention that goes into these lenses, because that's what it's really about. Like, yeah, there's a sensor at the back end of the lens that's probably state
Absolutely.
of the art, but these lenses, like stuff in World War II, stealth reconnaissance flights in World War II was able to pick up stuff that would be mind-blowing today. So the idea that you can get imagery like this from space does not blow my mind, considering the amount of money and resources that are thrown in to our military-industrial complex.
What do you think?
I don't know. It looks sketchy to me. The videos all look real.
You don't trust that this could be a satellite photo, or? Because it looks like this is pretty confirmed a satellite photo.
No.
Because I mean, what we're talking about is like something like a drone or a jet shot that image of what we're presuming may be the Malaysian flight, and used a satellite to uplink the video. Whereas this is actually photography taken from from a satellite itself, not that satellite, but just
Looks more like a drone photo to me.
And see, that's what a lot of people said. A lot of people said there is no way
It just
that a
doesn't
satellite
look
produced
like
it.
a satellite photo.
Do you have any doubts that our government could take images like this of us from space? Because I don't. I just
No, not really.
I don't.
Yeah, I mean, like, you don't think with the billions of dollars that goes into black budget nonsense.
Well, after
that they would
living
have this
literally
capacity.
right next to NORAD and seeing what goes on there, yeah, I kind of believe they have capabilities of doing anything.
You know, frankly, I wouldn't be surprised if there are independent non-nation state actors that have access to this level of technology.
That's. I don't know about that. I think these are typically stuff like this is the work of nation state actors and ones that got a pretty big budget.
Typically, though, you say typically means that there are outliers. There's exceptions to every rule.
Well, that's true, but I don't know. Like, could Elon Musk have a satellite that can do this? Maybe.
I mean, he's got Starlink.
Yeah, maybe. What's this other one? Is this another one here?
No, that was
Oh
just
no,
a
that was just
pulled
me
out view of
opening it.
yeah.
Gotcha.
Oh man, so
What's this?
launches us into the all-domain anomaly resolution.
This is a
office.
whole different thing.
There's a whole
right?
different thing.
All right. Let's hold it just for a second. Just for a second. Mainly because there's a dog that's mauling Jacqueline over there.
No,
and I
right?
want to get a
I keep
picture
trying
of
to
it.
tell it, go away, go away. They want to play.
Yeah, so these videos, man, it was a collective man to all of you. These videos, man, there is something I've seen a lot of UFO videos over my time, like a lot of UFO videos, and there is something about these that just strikes a completely and totally different chord than a lot of the things I've seen out there. And you know, even the things that can't be confirmed as hoaxes, that don't have a definitive someone coming out behind it, there's still something more concrete to the way everything in this video happens than in anything else I've seen. It is put together thoughtfully. It is one of the most well applied hoaxes I have ever seen in history, if it is.
I agree.
Well, when you first showed it to me, I was somewhat skeptical. But the connections between it looks like a freaking military camera. Not just how it looks, but you're showing me that not timestamp, but the geo stamp, the coordinates in the video. You're saying there are videos that show this satellite, which I don't know why we don't have one of those cuts. Sorry.
Yeah, that's my bad.
But that actually show you where it's uplinking.
I can see if I can find that really quick.
I mean, I
actually.
guess it's possible that somebody had that, just a video of a plane that was of some interest to a government out there, a drone or something, and somebody had access to that video and felt the need to make this hoax. But I can't imagine the motivation
I was gonna
unless
say,
it
what would be the point
was-
behind that?
Well, I think it would have to be a nation state actor itself.
I know it's these chairs, man.
There
They're
it
gonna be
is,
the death
there
of
it
us.
is. That's the one we're gonna clip. That one was good.
I knew it was gonna happen.
Yeah, you can't trust them.
The chairs are out to get us, guys.
They are.
All right, it's like that Jimmy Neutron episode with all the pants except chairs. Same thing. It's a problem.
Nobody's seen that.
Yeah, everyone's saying that.
If you've seen that, please comment because I don't think you're out there.
Jimmy Neutron pants episode. Let's go.
Now, if somebody hoaxed it, I think and it would have to be a nation-state actor. Not have to be, but I think it would be most likely that it would be like the United States, China, Russia, something like that, as a smokescreen for something else.
No doubt. I am 100% in agreement with you there.
So if we're saying it's not a hoax and all of this is real, what is
Phil
the
says
point?
he's seen it. He's seen the Jimmy
what
Neutron
happened?
episode.
Of course he has.
What was that?
Sorry.
No,
sorry,
saying that all
Jacqueline.
this is real and that we are, trying to say that yes, this all happened, the aliens are real or the UFOs or whatever. What was the point? What did they do with the plane? Where did it go?
Well, that's goes back to the presumption that this is that Malaysian Airlines flight.
Well, this is something that I am putting together as a segment, I believe, for next week, but I've got some info that might answer that question too. So make sure you tune in next week to see that.
We gotta find a different video to review. Wait, so I mean the timestamps. There's timestamps on it that add up to the idea that this was that Malaysian flight. So where did the plane go? Well, they say they found the wreckage. Did they find the wreckage near there? Yeah, I thought they did.
I didn't think they ever found any wreckage.
We looked at this last week. I think we found some articles showing like a wingspan or something, but I don't know if they said, I believe 49 pieces were found, but only 3 were confirmed to be from Flight 370. And their definition of confirmed, I'm a little skeptical of.
Well, that's fishy. That in and of itself is fishy. I don't know what you can make of that. I feel like I speculated it to death last episode.
Oh,
Can we just take a quick vote?
this is interesting. What was that? I'm sorry.
Before you do it, can we just take a quick vote? Aliens or high-tech government secrets?
The answer to that question, in my opinion, entirely depends on whether or not you think Project Bluebeam is going to be a success or a failure.
Okay, but so Project Bluebeam, right? We're talking about the lasers that you can triangulate to make it look like there's something in the sky. Is that correct?
Yeah, the alien invasion, Dr. Manhattan, Ozymandias plot.
Well, that's what people speculate you would do with it. That you could make it look like there's a fake alien in it.
Yeah.
This is what's commonly associated with Project Bluebeam. But what we saw in that video had trails behind it. It wasn't.
I've got the video.
It wasn't just a laser. It was like it almost had like exhaust. There was some sort of deformation of
cold.
space, or yeah, and presumably because it's a FLIR, that's what you're seeing, right?
Yes.
Which a cold trail could be an indication of an expansion of the atmosphere, because the higher you get into the atmosphere, the colder it gets. The molecules aren't bouncing off each other as rapidly, and that's what heat is.
Yeah.
And if you were creating a warp in space-time in order to propel a vehicle, presumably pulling space apart in front of you, maybe, I mean, like, I'm not a physicist or anything, but would that not create a cool pocket around the vehicle?
I absolutely think it would. I think that is...
At least in the situation in which you're in the atmosphere, you know?
Yeah, 100%, because non-atmospheric flight's going to have a completely different set of rules. But then again, if you were just disregarding the atmosphere, if you were just treating it like it's not there...
But it is there. I know what you're saying, but like, it's there in space in front of you. And if you want to travel through space, even if by the manipulation of the space around the ship, it's still there. You know what I mean?
It is,
So-
but I think it's almost, you have to think in like a sort of abstract way about it. I think you're manipulating the space by proxy through the the atmosphere by proxy through
Yes.
the manipulation
Yeah.
of the space. But I think it's like there's a difference in me saying that and like this. Like I'm saying I pick up this bottle is moving the air.
Yeah.
There's a difference in that level of interaction and like what's happening there, because it's almost the same thing. It's like this bottle is.
I'm only proposing that it's a byproduct of the manipulation of space around the ship.
I'm
in
sorry,
an
something
atmosphere.
started playing on my laptop. What was that?
I said I'm only proposing that it's a byproduct of the manipulation of space around the ship in an atmosphere. It's not like a means by which it propels itself. It's just, if you're going to expand the atmosphere, if you're going to expand space around the atmosphere, you would potentially expand that atmosphere. I don't know. Again, not a physicist.
And it posits into the realm of science fiction at that point.
But there's some sort of trail behind that.
Oh my god.
Every time, just leave it down. Just leave it down.
We're gonna have to get my niece on here and try to explain this to us. She's an astrophysicist.
Oh,
Yeah.
Super smart. Although I don't know if we would understand a thing that comes out of her mouth. She's incredibly smart.
I did find, and I'm gonna go ahead and post it in chat for everybody right now. I did find the video that shows NROL-22 in the bottom left, along with the same coordinates that we saw in the stereoscopic view. So if anybody
Do you want to
wants
send it to me
take
and I'll
a-
pull it up?
My signal on this is
That's
broken.
We'll put it up, but it's there. It exists.
It's in the chat right now. Everybody is able to go take a look at it if they are interested in seeing that.
I can pull it up from that, man.
Yeah. Okay. Definitely.
Oh, is it like way in the corner?
Very, very hard to read. Very, very in the bottom. And you can see that cursor moving. He's like pulling the image around with that cursor, so you can like. There's so much interesting
I
stuff
see it.
going on.
NROL-22. Or at least presumably it's a 22.
I'm not sure what other number. That's too soft at the
3,
corners to
maybe?
be. Maybe.
Oh, what?
We're trying to read in the very bottom of the corner.
It's not a 3.
It's not a 3 because if you look down from the other numbers, there's other
other
3s that look
threes.
different. It's a 2.
100%
You're looking at what
a
we're
2.
talking, it's going to be right down here by my cursor. Right there.
Watch it skim
It's
through
a
the numbers.
2.
See how it says 9-3 right after it?
Yeah, if you look at the
Yeah,
other
it's a
numbers,
good
you can
reference.
see it.
Yeah, that's a 2.
Okay.
Oh, blip. And it's gone.
So there we go. I'm glad we had that because that was kind of central to our point.
No doubt.
But yeah, so what I'm saying is, how could it be blue beam if you're just projecting lasers up to intersect each other to make it look like something's there and it's not? But that something has a trail, a thermal trail behind it, and that thermal trail is cold.
Well,
It's not even heat.
Blue beam started as that, but I think the idea behind blue beam is a little more open-ended. Do you know what Project Blue Beam is?
Mm-mm.
Have you ever seen Red Watchmen?
I don't think so.
No. Okay, so the idea behind Project Blue Beam, the reason I reference Watchmen is the movie makes a similar assumption in the story. Project Blue Beam is essentially a project where the government, all the governments, the government are essentially going to stage an alien invasion to collectively stop all war and bring the people of Earth together under a one world government to fight a singular unified threat. It's going to be their way to enact essentially the New World Order, is the thought behind what Project Blue Beam is. And, when I talk about Blue Beam, I don't necessarily mean Blue Beam as the definitive, like, what it is officially defined as. I'm talking more on the ideas of it, and I guess I should explain that a little bit more. But just the fact that all of this disclosure is happening, and
So
we're having the
is
UAP
blue beam
hearing.
what they call that laser thing I was talking about? Where they
Yeah,
intersect
that
lasers
is like the official, the
For that
official
tech.
documentation, I guess you could say. I'm not sure the word I'm looking
But
for
that
there
is,
on it.
you're absolutely right. What you're talking about is what the presumption of the use of the technology would be, is to unify people under like a one world government.
And it's a high possibility that the reason we're getting these UAP hearings and these videos are making their rounds again into popular discourse, and the reason, because we've got this is moving into future topics, but that AARO website has got some really, really interesting disclosure stuff going on it. And I think it's a solid possibility that we are seeing all of this now to kind of get people psychologically ready for an event, a Bluebeam-esque event happening, whether it be actual disclosure, like, hey, we got aliens, or it's actually a Watchmen type situation where they're faking it, and it's just it's a thing to get people to come together to fight.
I don't know if it works though.
I don't know if it works. That's a good point.
Yeah.
Whether or not it works is a completely different story.
Because like Reagan spoke about this. You see this on all sort of UFO content about Reagan's idea of the world unifying if there was invaders from outside, how everybody would drop their cultural differences, hold hands, and fight the invading extraterrestrial forces. I don't know if I buy it. I mean, like, it would have to be a very dire threat, and it would have to be in your face and obvious, and I'm not sure that something like lasers in the sky would be enough.
That's what I'm talking about. I don't think lasers in the sky is the real thing about Project Bluebeam. I don't think it's about the specifics of Project Bluebeam. I think it's about the fact that we've got the technology, or they've got the technology. The technology, if this video is real, you get what I'm saying? If this isn't a hoax, the technology is out there. And I think whether or not the disclosure is real, or it's just going to come through stuff like this, or what I mean by that is whether or not it's actually extraterrestrials or the government, I think we're just going to get disclosure through stuff like this, or we're eventually going to see an event like this take place in a public forum where it's undeniable. And that's going to be what Bluebeam is. It's not going to be lasers in the sky. It's going to be the actual technology. It may be extraterrestrial, and it may be like high-tech government reversed engineered, but that it's not going to be about the lasers. It's going to be about displaying the technology. The lasers are just the common parlance, like, haha, they're going to shoot goofy lasers in the sky and make us afraid. You know what I mean?
I don't know if you could ever get enough high-powered organizations and governments to come together to pull something like that off, because each one of them does want some degree of their own power.
I don't think you need enough high-powered to pull it off. I think you need one. I think you need one to pull it off, and the rest fall in line. If you pull it off well enough.
The rest would still have to go with it. Like, they would have to believe it. You're right. You would have to trick all the other nation states, power actors in the world.
And, if you can display a piece of technology like that in a public forum, there's your Bluebeam. You've tricked everyone. No, that doesn't, the way those moved, nothing about this video makes sense in classical physics. Absolutely nothing about the way they move makes any sense whatsoever. So to have, like, if this video were to be revealed, even just this video being revealed as like an actual video is enough to cause a Bluebeam-esque scenario. Because this is like, if they come out and say, yes, this is real, I mean, guess what? You just demonstrated that technology. That technology has been demonstrated, and if no one can find the provenance of this video, then you've just fooled the nation states into no one has any idea where it comes from, so they're not pointing fingers. You know what I'm saying? And if no one can currently prove the provenance of this video, that falls in line as if it is government technology. That could be a possible scenario as to why this is out there and gaining traction the way it is.
I want to believe it's just UFOs.
I hope it's just
it's literally
UFOs.
Simpler if it's just UFOs. It's simpler for everyone if this is just extraterrestrials and this isn't some sort of governmental plot.
Yeah, but my conspiracy board only gets one red string for aliens. If I go the other route, I get like 86, okay?
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, you got to go to Joann's Fabrics, buy that red yarn, more thumbtacks.
And I like my arts and crafts, Gavin.
Yeah.
I really do.
Me
Yeah, I
too.
understand.
It's
What else are you
fun.
gonna do with your free time other than this show? I'm hoping it's UFOs. I'm gonna vote UFOs because that's what I want.
Yeah,
I
what's your
want-
vote?
I think it's probably military related. I grew up military, been military, so in my head, I feel like it's probably got more, to do with the military than we think. Although it definitely looks like UFOs too. I don't know.
I mean, do you think it might be like reverse engineered technology that we've
I think that
captured?
we already know what a lot of the UFOs are. We have them. We know that we have them. We have people that come forward that says that we have them. I think they're trying to use it and see what they can do with it.
I don't think we're capable of reverse engineering, like Bob Lazar.
I think we've had them since the 60s. I think there's totally a way for us to have the ability to do it. I mean, after what I've seen on military bases and living there, I totally think it's capable of doing that.
And we've got experiments dating back to the 40s in this kind of technology.
But as I said before, I have no doubt that the government has technologies that would blow our mind and look alien to us. And that
Just think of what we see in the skies right here where we live, near a military base. I mean,
I haven't
it's,
seen a whole lot, but
it's all over our town. People see all kinds of things over it.
Chance, this is a good segue. What was that thing you were talking about? Them dropping near your property?
Chaff?
Yes, chaff.
Chaff.
You want to explain that and what you've seen?
Oh, absolutely. In the area we're at, oftentimes there are training runs for military aircraft, and oftentimes they will test out their defensive measures, their defensive countermeasures on their vehicles. And you'll see C-130s flying very low, 400, 500, 600 feet above the ground, probably, judging by how large they look in the sky. And they'll start shooting their flares off. No big deal. I mean, a little terrifying. Might set the whole world on fire, but no big deal. Flares, it's cool, right? What scares me is the chaff, because they will drop chaff in the air right over you, wherever you are.
But what is this stuff?
It is tiny, tiny, tiny little strands, little bitty thin strands of aluminum. It's used to block radar signal, typically for missile evasion. Radar lock missiles have a hard time navigating through it. It looks like it basically turns a perfectly circular radar signature into a splatter target.
Okay.
And it's very difficult to see where an actual target is on the radar. But yeah, it's just millions of pieces, like hundreds of pounds of tiny little aluminum foil sheets, basically. Like, and when I say microscope, like tiny, I
It
mean
just
like
scatters the radio
essentially.
emissions.
They're like strands of hair, essentially. I mean, they're very, very thin.
Ironically, where you live, there's leukemia clusters.
Suspicious.
I mean, aluminum. Aluminum's been linked to all sorts of stuff like dementia. So, I mean, if you have an exposure level to very small, micronized, highly bioavailable aluminum particles in your environment.
My favorite.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, I have no doubt that our government has hidden technologies. I don't think anybody serious can say that, oh, there's no way that our government has hidden technologies that would blow our minds. But I have to tell you, when it comes to reverse engineering an alien craft, an extraterrestrial craft, like when Bob Lazar talks about his stories at Area 51, basically being hired on as kind of an outsider in an attempt to understand the engines that drive these vehicles, I don't believe that we're ever going to engineer that, or maybe someday, but we're never going to reverse engineer that. We're nowhere near it. Like, oh, your camera's going off.
Are you serious?
Mm-hmm.
It's been a lot longer than 30 minutes.
Yeah. Well,
I'll give you that. Cut us to the back.
Yeah.
Still working out the kinks.
Yeah. We thought we had that cleaned up.
I'm still getting mauled by
It was-
dogs.
It was good for about an hour. What happened there?
Does that mean time for intermission?
No, not yet. Yeah, so just for me to complete this rant, because I've been trying to get it out. I don't think there's a chance that we're going to reverse engineer the propulsion devices in extraterrestrial ships because they're so complex. We're like frogs poking at a jet engine. It's not gonna happen. I think there is a possibility that we could reverse engineer some of the other technologies or materials that might be on or somehow in use on these ships, in these vehicles. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Like, in other words, the engine isn't going to happen. We're frogs poking a nuclear reactor.
Yes, but I agree that we, as human beings with our current limited knowledge of the universe, probably, because there is a non-zero chance we could. Humans are interesting. We can figure shit out, right? There is a non-zero chance that we could, but we probably could not. I agree with you there. However, what if they helped?
Well, I think we could engineer something like it at some point in the distant future. Maybe not
You
as
don't
distant
think if
as
we
I'm
have
considering.
their UFOs that we don't have some of them?
Oh, well, that's a whole nother story.
And if we have them,
And if we have them, yeah, they're working with us to get whatever it is
No,
figured
I
out.
don't think they want to talk to us any more than you want to talk to a frog in a pond.
did we just LS swap an alien hot rod engine and a jet fighter or something? Is that what's going on here?
Maybe you could take the entire thing and use it. I could see finding materials like, how do I put this? I have a computer, right? And I'm a primitive ape, but I'm a really smart primitive ape, like an early
Like a
hominid.
Denisovian?
Yeah, like Homo florensis or Homo neanderthalis or one of these early hominid species. And you bring me your desktop computer from the future and I look at it. But I'm like the smartest of all of these Neanderthals. And there's no way in hell I'm going to engineer the CPU. I might figure out a way to engineer the capacitor. I might be able to look at the capacitor and go, okay, I understand what this is doing, and maybe this component is something I can do. But for those who are unfamiliar with what would you call it? The architecture inside of a CPU, I mean, it's amazing that it worked. It would be impossible for a single person to wrap their mind around. And I don't think
be
a single-
impossible for a single person to produce.
Yes. Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Stop.
Nobody's producing
Who's
one
going
on their
after
own.
the cords? Stop it, George. Stop.
There might be some lesser technology. Maybe we can look at certain metal alloys and reproduce those and use those. But in terms of like alien technology seeping into our culture or being withheld by the government from our culture, I think we're probably talking about a relatively limited number of things that we would even be able to comprehend that would be available to a spacefaring civilization as advanced as you must be to travel to this planet from the nearest inhabitable star.
Do you think quantum computers are going to change the rate at which that technology gets developed?
I think AI could change the rate.
What about the combination of the two?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, you work the two together. Yeah. I think there's a possibility that the tools that we are creating will be able to create tools themselves that we are incapable of creating ourselves.
Self-replicating machines?
Kind of.
Are we
I mean, I
gonna-
think they would be doing it at our direction. When I say the tools that we create, I mean AI, quantum computers.
Is it all going to come down to Roko's basilisk? Is that what we're creeping towards?
Don't go there.
No, I'm just opening that door for
Why did you
anyone
have to
that-
say it? We're on a live stream.
Because I'm devious.
We're all doomed now.
Yeah.
If you don't know what that is, we're
Don't
not
look
going
it
to tell
up.
you. We advise you don't look it up. So
Or
as
do
soon
it
as
if
you
you
know
want.
about it, you're doomed. I don't even know how to continue from there. I'm not gonna lie. Somebody tell me something.
He's
I
like,
can't.
you've done it. You've killed us all.
You killed us all. Hmm.
Oh, that's good.
Slaves, AI slaves.
That happens to the best of us, really.
Should we go over this one? I guess.
Yeah, we can move on to the
What you got to tell us here?
All domain anomaly resolution office. So I've got an article here talking about the launch of an organization that is dedicated directly to provide photos, videos, information, press releases, and things of that nature, specifically for UAP cases, UFO cases. I don't like
Unidentified
UAP.
aerial phenomenon.
I like UFO. It's classic.
UFO is
I
better.
agree.
Can we all UFO?
UFO.
Can we get that back in the parlance?
It's sunk so deep into my consciousness from such an early developmental stage that it's hard for me to let go of the term UFO
Mhm.
just because it's fun. I mean,
It is fun.
they really do mean the same thing.
They
It
do.
does.
Because it always bothered me that when people said UFO, unidentifying flying object, it had to mean like an extraterrestrial starfaring ship. It doesn't have to. It just is
It could
an
just be
unidentified
a really
object.
big frisbee.
Right. Yeah, and you don't know what it is, so it's unidentified, right? Now, this term does nothing to solve that. Unidentified aerial phenomenon, right?
Yeah.
That does nothing to solve that problem.
It adds in. Actually, it does things to dilute it because ball lightning now fits in that category.
Yeah.
Yes, because an object implies a physical
Thing.
object,
This implies
not
an
a
event.
ball of plasma.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
And
true.
we don't know
I
what ball
have to look at-
lightning is. It literally fits the description. We have no idea how it happens.
Yeah.
We being the collective human species, bar probably like one crazy guy in a cave somewhere that has it all figured out. Jim,
He's not in a
Jim in
cave.
the cave. If you can hear me,
No.
get in touch.
Bro, Jim he's in the desert
Yep.
and he's in like either a prefab house or more likely like a mobile home on wheels. Maybe it's up on cinder blocks.
Is it in a cave?
He's got a bunch of cables running into that thing and a big AC sticking out the side, and that's it. That's it. There's nothing else around. Occasionally a coyote, moseys near, and he never comes out of there.
It looks vaguely like the house from Nowhere in Courage.
Yes.
Okay,
Except
but like a mobile home.
Except yeah, like an RV or something that he just.
Ooh, yeah, RV. Big satellites on the top, couple of them.
Mm-hmm.
3 of them aren't even hooked up, but they still spin.
Oh,
I don't know. So all this is talking about is the formation of this
Yeah,
office.
I'll go ahead. That second paragraph there is the most interesting. This website will provide information, including photos and videos, on resolved UAP cases as they are declassified and approved for public release. The website's other content includes reporting trends and a frequently asked questions section, as well as links to official reports, transcripts, press releases, and other resources that the public may find useful, such as applicable statutes and aircraft, balloon, and satellite tracking sites. So it looks like they're trying to provide quite a lot of information, to tell you the truth. That is much more than I would have expected them. The fact that they give you links to tracking sites to help you identify what may be over you is way further than I thought they would.
Yeah,
They
we'll
would do.
see. We'll see if they actually manage to implement that. Because I'm skeptical that they'll implement that and that it will help at all.
Well, I'll tell you, the website just went live not long ago, and it is pretty fleshed out for being what it is.
Really? Okay.
Sure enough, it's that next tab if you want to click over.
All right.
So here we have got
Bro,
AARO.mil.
Why does this look like a site from like the early 2000s?
It does. It is aggressively that.
This doesn't even look real. This
It
is a
doesn't.
military
This
website.
is a military website. This is an official military website. HTTPS and all.
This doesn't. Veterans Crisis Hotline is at the bottom. Okay. Okay, so is there some tracking I can do on here? Like, I got a couple of charts.
Scroll down.
Coming soon. U.S. government UAP related program activity reporting. Oh, they want to know. They want to know what's in the skies. This isn't just about UFOs. I mean, this isn't just about extraterrestrials. This is about Chinese balloons.
Uh-huh.
That's what this is about.
That's interesting too, because military personnel and pilots are singled out to have their own
Yeah, like don't come to us.
yeah, go somewhere else, you know what to do, which means these are those two have at least already had implementation of some kind of program where they had reporting for these, because I doubt that 3 individual reporting programs would have sprung up separately at the exact same time. One for civilians, one for pilots, and one for personnel. It makes me think that those were in place already for civilian pilots and for military personnel. They had channels to officially report these already.
Yeah. I don't think this is about little green men. I think this is absolutely about.
Well, if you scroll back to the bottom, there is
Green
cases. Go up. Right there. Click official UAP videos.
Ooh.
And we've actually got.
No.
Yes.
Why are they sharing this? What's happening?
This is what I'm talking about. This is what I was talking about with the blue beam thing, man. It's interesting.
Unclassified.
And that's a drone right there. That is absolutely like a predator drone or something flying.
Like what we get around here.
Whoa, that was weird.
Something zipped right past it.
We get those same drones over here. Remember there was one that
oh, yeah,
there
we
was one that
do.
crashed
Yeah.
not long, well, it was a couple years ago.
Yeah.
We get those.
And sometimes I don't know where to put your window. It's from January 15th of this year.
And these things are probably maintaining a cruising speed of like 300 to 500 miles an hour, just to give you insight into how fast that's flying
'Cause
against
it doesn't
it.
look like it's flying that fast. And what's weird about that, what sketches me out most about that, is how much it looks like your archetypal UFO.
Like the one you made me on the little lamp thing. Yeah.
Like it looks like it
Oh
has
my
like,
god,
Or
no,
something
hold
out
on,
of the
hold on.
Jetsons.
Yeah, I was about to say, that is
Yeah.
literally the
That's what I was-
Jetsons car.
Yeah.
What?
That's exactly
Hold on,
what I
can you
was
really
thinking.
CSI enhance that one frame? Not this one, but there was one a few back. It literally
It
had like a
looks ju-
person
yeah, like
in the
the
middle.
little
I was thinking the same thing. We
Hold
all
on,
came to that
Are
conclusion.
we getting trolled by our government?
I think so.
I kind of feel like it. That
That's the
totally looks like the
Jetsons.
Jetsons.
That looks
yeah.
like a Jetsons car.
There was a jet.
Come
that's
on.
Everyone, I haven't seen the Jetsons in 20 years.
Oh, I haven't
Neither have
either.
I.
And all of us were like, oh, Jetsons. It's a flying car. Is that a Volkswagen? Like,
Pause it right when it gets to around the middle. Right.
It has wheels.
Come on.
like it looks like it just has a bubble on top.
They took an old Jetsons like show and put it in this.
They silhouetted it out, and then they just drug it across the
That's
screen.
why it's
really
open for
fast.
us to see.
Well, it's got trails behind it that FLIR. Look at that.
That's true.
I wonder what
Point
player are they hosting these on their own
5.
site?
I don't know, but we should probably download all of these. I will have all of these files downloaded and updated in the show archives at the end of the show, just so
We'll just
everyone
link
can.
to them. We don't need to.
No, I'll go
download.
ahead. I'll go ahead and rip them down. I imagine they're not maybe 10 megabytes top.
No, I mean they look very short, but they're already hosted somewhere. So,
Yeah, but what if they go down?
well, then we'll keep copies of them. I don't know that we need to host them out there for everybody. This is in slow-mo.
It's a Jetsons.
It looks like it leaves something in its wake.
But that might be a video artifact.
Yeah, I think it very well might be.
It's the Jetsons, bro.
It
It's so
looks like a
small
Jetsons
compared to that
car.
drone too.
We gotta watch some of these, 'cause this is
Alright,
too
next
good.
one.
Yeah, that's why I grabbed this page. I saw these
Yeah,
on here and I
man.
wanted us to look at some of them.
Whoa, why can't I? There we go.
I love the Windows Movie Maker title screen. That's my favorite
Yes,
part.
yeah, very.
You're not playing.
Oh, my bad. I'm trying to click the screen on OBS.
Oh, that was goofy. So I haven't watched any of these. I just saw what they were. This is my first time seeing them as well.
I mean, these are great. Thanks, Daddy Government, for giving us content.
Oh. Whoa. Whoa. That's some funky movement. Hold up. What is happening here?
Just normal playback speed.
Is it two things?
I don't know. I mean, this could be a laser pointer on a wall at this point.
What?
They're tracking something, or they're playing Space Invaders. I'm not sure
I
which.
was gonna say it feels like a video game. I don't know what I'm looking at.
The way that thing is moving is unreal.
What are they tracking there? Like, that's the camera doing that.
Maybe some kind of
Some
heat
sort
source.
of projectile, or yeah.
It's a projectile that's wacky.
Well, it almost looks like that's what that would highlight. You'd have to know what this camera, what this system is capable
If
of. to
anybody
really
out
analyze
there
this.
recognizes what type of camera system this came off of, please chime in, let us know, and that way we can have some more information regarding that.
Yeah. That's weird. I don't know. That one's not as interesting
I'm
as
gonna
the
need
Jetson
better
car.
footage because that looked like a bug under a microscope. Like, I don't know.
That one looks like camera footage.
Yeah, I want to
This
see the
is-
third one.
This one?
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. But I was just looking to see, like, look what they do. Pick 6 videos and release them. Is this it?
I've seen one of the bottom ones, the one with the water.
Why does this look like
Whoa.
the WikiLeaks video?
That was weird.
That was weird.
It's still going.
Yeah, that's cool. I like this. I like that orb.
And it's an orb.
I mean, it is from this point of view. That's something I was going to mention when people talk about cigar-shaped UFOs. I mean, like, if my hand's a dish, right?
Yeah, you change
Can I
the
do
angle
better?
you're looking
Yeah.
at it. A cigar with
cigar
a
shape.
rounded top is...
Here's your UFO.
But how do all the orbs...
Here's your cigar.
How do all the orbs keep their orbiness pointed at the camera? Or the cigars keep their orb side pointed at the camera?
I
How do
don't
they know
know.
to do that? Do they not want us knowing their cigars? Is it Cuba? Are these just Cuban secret military vehicles? Is that what this is?
Cuban cigars.
Yeah.
I'd seen something once that proposed they don't move flat like that.
Yeah.
But instead move forward like this way, like across.
Interesting.
like that.
Like Boba Fett's.
Instead of
Boba
like
Fett
their typical
ship.
mode of action would be to pick up on a side, and yeah, exactly. Boba Fett.
Interesting. That's really interesting. I wonder why that would be.
For some reason, it jives better with me in terms of the physics, but what do I know? Funky.
That man immediately discarded his mission objective
Yeah, I was just thinking like.
and was like, "What is that?" He's like, "All right, so we got them. They're moving around the complex now. Oh my God, Dave! Did
Does
you
it
see that,
look like-
Dave? Dave, look at this. I need Dave. Oh my God, follow it."
What I think is compelling here is look at the people on the ground. They seem to react to it.
Yeah,
He grabs them. See that? How one grabs the other.
and the other person runs.
Interesting.
So like they seem to have seen that too.
Well, it's flying low. Whatever's this camera view is probably a couple thousand feet up in the sky right now. And that thing's flying under it, like directly under it.
That's what I was thinking. Is it is very low. I mean, could it be a drone?
Not moving that. No, there's no. It's a circle.
That object doesn't appear to be very large.
It's just a shiny circle. Is it falling? Are we thinking about this from the wrong angle?
No,
Is
I
it
don't-
falling down out of the sky? Did someone just drop a cannonball out of a plane?
No, because look at the angles of the structures on the ground. It's not falling. It went over those people's heads and they reacted. You can see what looks like power lines at one point.
It just turned, yeah. It straightened its course out and went a different direction. It's going in a slightly different direction now than in the start of the video.
It's just a perspective thing. It's
Yeah.
like playing an old
Isometric.
like overhead isometric video game. Yeah. I was thinking about Desert Strike because that's what this video looks like. Because that's quite literally what they're doing. What's this one? You know, they didn't give this one the title screen they gave the others.
That's
No
interesting.
green Windows Movie Maker date on it.
I think their camera has radiation damage.
All these, like, they look like dead pixels, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it does look like damage to the sensor.
Hey, flying up as high as they are, it's very likely it might actually be radiation damage.
Maybe.
Oh, bottom.
Mm-hmm.
Also the weird Orion's belt thing in the middle there.
See, I don't... I mean, these are... Without context, what are we even looking at?
That's why they're unidentified.
These specs here, to me, yeah, they look like damage to the
Oh,
camera
there's
sensors.
your flying upright.
No, those dots aren't what we're looking at. I don't know what they are.
I
the ones
think
that
they are
moving.
what we're looking at.
Are they?
I think
You see
so.
him turn?
Oh yeah, you're right. That is what we're looking at. All these dots flying in unison?
Looks like it. Like exact
Swirling.
perfect unison.
Yeah, because you can see the damage to the sensor over the clouds. But you saw the thing flying underneath, right? It looked
Yeah.
like a plane maybe then.
It's weird how they always seem to be in threes.
Yeah.
Like almost every video I've ever seen, there's like 3 different
Oh,
ones. Maybe I'm wrong. Right as I say that,
Four. They heard you.
I
It
know.
came out
right?
of nowhere too,
It's going
right?
faster. Is that another plane, maybe?
No, I don't think so, because the
that's
plane
not
had a
plane.
it had a contrail behind it when it flew across the bottom of the screen earlier in the clip. Behind the cloud, presumably. I mean, it is kind of compelling because you're getting look at this, either lens damage, these speckles in here, or damage to the sensor. You have that on the image, and then you have whatever we're watching there.
They turn into slinkies for a second.
Yeah, they had a spaz attack. And you can, like, yeah, they're disappearing behind clouds. Like,
that cloud looks so not real.
It looks
It
like
really-
a turtle.
it's interesting. It does look like a turtle. Wait,
What kind
wait.
of camera is this? Is this
Bring this back.
FLIR? Or are
You
we
talking about
watching
that being the
infrared?
turtle head right there?
I see it.
Yes, that's
This?
totally what I was seeing.
Okay, I don't know.
Like, dude
I
in
saw
my
it
car.
too.
He has a little
Little
arm up,
mouth
like,
here.
please.
I see it. He's going.
And that looks like a smiling, like, snake or a sloth.
Oh, here we go.
At least I'm not driving this time.
Yeah.
I love looking at pictures in the clouds.
That camera whip makes me think this is a drone.
That would make sense. I mean, like, everything's a drone now, let's be real.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say we could go outside right now and see like 10 of them behind the house.
Probably.
I almost brought mine.
Yours is fun.
We'll bring it next time.
I don't touch it because I'm scared I'll break it, but I like to watch y'all do it.
Just as long as you don't put the propeller on backwards, then it turns into Terror Bird and tries to cut your finger off.
Yeah, that was fun.
Oh, fun was the right word.
I thought we were gonna lose it the day that the helicopter flew over and you had to
That was so
put it on the side of the
funny,
road.
yeah.
Ooh, this is
Oh,
audio.
that's loud.
Oh wait.
Whoa!
I totally missed it because I was adjusting volume. Hmm. Man, he catches it with the camera too.
Why?
I feel like there's not much I can take out of that. That could have been a piece of space junk flying past, for all I know.
Space jump.
Is this the famous... No.
I think the bottom one's the one I keep seeing like
It's
on
so-called-
Facebook stuff.
The Tic Tac UFO? With Commander Fravor?
Unsure.
Commander Fravor, I believe. I don't know if this is the same video. He testified in front of Congress. Pretty compelling stuff, what he had seen. Well, I'm sure this has been said 1,000 times over again, but it's more compelling because you have trained eyes on these things reporting this or recording this.
Yeah,
You can't
unable
get somebody
to.
more qualified than these pilots or these drone operators.
Yeah, and this is, I mean, this is coming straight off of a military website too.
Yeah, I don't know if that makes me trust it more or
Or
less.
less, right?
I find it interesting.
This, I think, is the video
The
you were
gimbal
talking
footage.
about.
Yes. Yeah, this is... and it's not even a video. Unresolved case, gimbal footage.
Yeah.
Which, of course, they address that. That's like the most famous one, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's the one of the decade. The encounter of the decade.
I've seen that bottom one a lot. Over the ocean.
The Go Fast video
Yeah.
and the gimbal video.
The Go Fast one's the one I seen.
Oh.
Ooh, thanks for the WMV.
Yeah.
I guess you couldn't be bothered to put it in, like, a format somebody cares about.
It just
You were right
tells-
about Windows Movie Maker. It's a WMV file.
Oh, sound.
Dude, this is a fucking drone, bro. There's a whole fleet of them. Look on the ASA. My gosh. They're all going against the wind. The wind's 120 knots from the west. Look at that thing, dude.
There's a whole fleet of them.
That's not our LNS though, is it? It's not. That is the LNS,
It's
man.
turned.
Well, if there's like another thing.
Just
It's
like you said,
rotating.
Gavin.
That's wacky.
I mean, these are like the most famous cases out there, though. I've seen these videos. You get down into the weeds with ones, but I've seen these. They're very popular.
Roger. There's troubleshooting. Did you box moving target? No, I took an auto track. Oh, okay. Oh my
We
gosh,
just lost
dude.
the camera.
Wow.
Oh. Seriously?
Yep. Yeah, those are very famous cases, and yeah, I love the exuberance in this guy's voice when he catches it with the camera.
Oh, he's
When
so
he-
excited.
He locks on and he's like, "Yeah, I got one," you know.
Yeah.
I'd imagine if you had seen them before, and here you are seeing them again, and all like you want proof, right? You want to be
Otherwise, you
able
feel
to
crazy.
catch it.
You want people to be able to see what you've seen.
Can we go back to that real quick? Dude. Come on, cursor. There we go.
Nickel 6-1 Tango. Roger, Roger.
And he gets that lock on too.
Uh-huh.
There's troubleshooting. Did you box moving target? No, I took an auto track.
And it's interesting that it's over the ocean because you hear the orbs coming. You hear the stories of the orbs rising up and down out of the ocean.
Oh, absolutely. USOs.
Mm-hmm.
But isn't that it?
I believe so.
Submersible objects, unidentified submersible objects. Yeah, so I mean, it's cool that they have copies of both of those videos up. The Go Fast ones, just almost more exciting because you get to hear that guy.
Yeah.
Dude, this is a fucking drone, bro.
What
There's
is
a
he
whole
saying?
fleet
I
of
think
them.
he
Look on
says,
the
I think
ASA.
it's a fucking drone, bro.
My
And then
gosh.
there's a fleet of them.
Yeah.
They're all going against the wind. The wind's 120 knots from the west. Look at that
They're
thing, dude.
going against the wind 120 knots.
Almost looks like the pointy end with the dome on top, though, going sideways and
That's not
flipping.
our LNS though, is it? It's not. That is the LNS, dude. Well, if there's like another thing.
It's so weird the way it changes
It's
its
rotating.
orientation too. It changes its orientation like it's something that does not care about the physics of the air moving around.
At
it.
all.
Right.
One bit. One bit.
Because it should have just like stopped moving. It should have air braked itself when it turned on its side like that, judging from the shape of it.
Yeah, no doubt. But those are cool. It's cool to see that. Interesting website that the government is slowly leaking us UFO footage from. You know?
What are they trying to distract us from?
No, you know what I don't see on here? The Lost Malaysian Flight UFO video. You can only get that through Dark Dial. Very cool.
It is definitely something, man. It is I'm curious to watch that site over time and see what more gets put onto it than there currently is, because I can't imagine with a site like that being up there won't be more FOIA requests made for things to be put up there.
Yeah, but they don't. A FOIA request and being hosted on that site are two different things.
They are, but a lot of the stuff off of that site looked like it came from FOIA requests.
Well, I think they were just incidentally declassified because of FOIA requests. I mean,
Yeah,
there
but
are
how-
people who make it their business to do nothing but FOIA request all day.
Yeah, and it's likely we might see more though.
It's like, oh, okay, these are out now, so we're safe to put them on our public-facing military website.
Oh man, it's something. I really am curious to see where it goes. I'm curious to see how the hearings and everything come out too.
Yeah,
'Cause I think this is directly tied to that.
it's going to be a trickle of information forever. The idea that the government's just going to open up the floodgates, short of the fall of the U.S. government, I don't really see that happening. Like, I always think that's interesting, studying some of the information that came out of the former Soviet Union. As the Soviet Union fell, a lot of those documents just kind of got out there, along with a lot of other things, right? But
Yeah.
I don't think. I think they're gonna trickle it out. What they know, they want to keep close to their chest, and they probably don't want to comment on what anybody else knows. I think most of the information is gonna be publicly sourced, but it's really cool when we get like awesome drone videos like that.
It is very, very cool. Do you what do you think the odds are of someone, this is to both of you, going off the rails and leaking like all of it, you know? Like the whole of it.
I doubt one person has all of it, you know?
I think it's split between you're only allowed a certain amount of knowledge per person, and so nobody does know everything.
So
Preventative measures.
I think they're probably blindfolded to and from places. They're not.
Oh, that's exactly what they do. I mean, to reference Bob Lazar again, I find his story very compelling. I like him at least as a case study. I personally find him fairly believable, but that doesn't mean, like, I'm no expert, you know? But he talked about the compartmentalization in Area 51 where they were trying to reverse engineer these alien spacecraft.
Yeah.
And he was only allowed to, like, they basically took him in, brought him into rooms. I think there was one time where he said he saw they opened up a bunch of what do you call them, like hangars, and he was able to see like the UFOs and see down the hangars and see them. And I think that was the only time he got that look at it.
Gotcha.
Like they would escort him almost specifically to his room, and then there'd be some other lab geek in the room next door, and the two don't necessarily ever meet, you know? And
That makes sense. That makes, yeah, to prevent, I mean, to prevent exactly what I'm talking about, that's the only way to do it.
yeah, somebody going rogue and just showing everything. I just realized I've had this light off the whole show. But it's overheating. It might catch fire, so...
Well, that's the best part.
Yeah, if my hair catches fire, we'll find out.
Get ready for the Dark Dial Pyrotechnic Show.
It's not a party until somebody catches fire.
True.
That's our motto.
It's at least my motto.
Let's see here. Should we... We're at about an hour 45. Almost an hour 45. Are you guys good? You need to take a
I'm
break?
gonna take a small break and make a phone call.
Yeah, let's throw on an intermission real quick. When we come back, we can talk about that voicemail we got. And
Yeah.
while we're discussing that, I think we could open up the lines and get people calling in.
Yeah, I think we're about there at this point.
Awesome.
There's that one other topic related to the voicemail. I can't think of anything else I wanted to talk about this week. There are some things I want to have ready for next week that are going to be really good. So we'll take maybe at most a 5-minute break here. Come back. Please don't tune out. Stay in here because we're going to open up the phone lines in just a little bit.
Get your drinks, get your popcorn,
Come talk to us.
go ahead and order an extra set of Snuggies off TV, get yourself nice and cozy, grab your phone, get ready to call in. We want your stories, we want what you've seen, we want all the crazy stuff. That's what we like to hear. So bring it our way, and we will put you on and talk about it.
All right, we will be back. And we're back.
All right, everyone. Thank you for your patience with that intermission. I hope everyone is refreshed. I hope you went to the bathroom, got yourself some snacks, and you are ready to sit down and call in because we are about to go over the voicemail that we got. And as we're discussing that, we're going to open up the lines so that you guys are able to call in and discuss anything you want with us.
We did all of that. I went pee, and I ate something. I did it all.
It's true.
Break.
And we hope you did too.
I found it very refreshing.
Good.
I wish I had some, like, Coca-Cola, though. I was going to say Coke, but that could be taken wrong. That's not what I wish I had. I wish I had some Coca-Cola. All I have is some water.
The refreshing taste of Coca-Cola.
Mm.
Do you know what I wish I had?
This is just a Coca-Cola ad. This whole thing is just a psyop for the Coca-Cola Corporation.
I wish I had beverage brand beverage for when you're thirsty and you need a beverage.
Isn't that the venture idea that we had? Beverage brand beverage corporation. Sounds like something out of Rampage. All right, so let me pull up our voicemail. So if you don't know, yeah, we are a call-in show. We just haven't had the lines open yet. We kind of open them after we've exhausted ourselves running in circles talking about UFO videos. But I tend to leave the line open so you can call and leave a voicemail if you want. I mean, we're going to hear it and we might play it. In this case, we're going to play it. A little ambiance again. Let's try this here.
Hey, I heard this was Dark Dial. What are your guys' thoughts on the Mothman?
That was a little quiet. Did you guys hear it?
I heard something about a Mothman.
It was very quiet.
Yeah. I don't know if I can pump up the volume on this like at all.
That's okay. We were able to hear it enough
I'll
to
pause the
discern.
background noise.
Hey, I heard this was Dark Dial. What are your guys' thoughts on the Mothman?
Try to pump it.
Oh, I'm so sorry,
Hey, I heard
everyone.
this
I'm
was Dark
dying.
Dial. What are your guys' thoughts on the Mothman?
So that was our viewer, Cody. And he said, hey, this is Dark
Hey, I
Dial.
heard this was Dark Dial. What are your guys' thoughts on the Mothman?
What is our thoughts on the Mothman?
My first thought, frankly, about the Mothman is whether or not he is scaly or furry.
I imagine furry. But I have an unrealistic fear of moths.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Why?
Because I had one crawl up my nose in my sleep, and I thought it was going to eat my brain. It was the most terrifying thing in the world. And for like a month after, I slept in pantyhose like
Oh
over
my
my head because I was so scared
Just
that the
made my
moth was going to climb up my nose
Skin
again.
crawl. Oh my god, I love moths, but now
Oh,
I'm
no.
reconsidering that.
Oh no, it was terrible.
I mean, moths are usually furry. To answer
Nope.
your question.
Go ahead and start the scroll. Text scroll.
For the call? I don't get the lines open yet. I was
Oh.
gonna talk a little bit about
Gotcha.
this. It's a bit of a segment anyway.
No, you're good. You're good.
So let me pull up this screen grab. What gets me about Mothman is the Chicago connection to Mothman. So if you're not familiar with Mothman, back in like 1966 in Point Pleasant, West Virginia, there was the sightings of this Mothman creature, and it preceded a large bridge collapse. There's a movie with what's the guy's name? Richard Gere, I think. Greer. The Mothman Prophecies, which is based off of a book, but a lot of the stuff that went into that was just fiction. Some of like the weird, if you've ever seen the movie, there's some weird like static on phones and like electronic phenomenon that's associated with it. But that was never a thing in Point Pleasant, West Virginia prior to that movie and that book. The bridge that collapsed there, I think, was one of the deadliest in U.S. history. So the common conception is that Mothman may be a harbinger of doom or a sign of catastrophe or pending catastrophe of some sort. What I think's weird is the Mothman sightings that exist around the world outside of that initial story, and a lot of them center in the Chicagoland area, specifically around O'Hare Airport. So what I pulled up here is I found a map of weird sightings of Mothman-like creatures in the Chicagoland area, and here is O'Hare Airport. And you can see how many sightings have apparently occurred. And I mean, like, we could try to read through some of these. They're pretty wild. Chicago fireman, and that's one thing that's consistent, especially around the O'Hare area, is that you have like flight controllers, pilots, firemen, people who are supposed to be of some degree of reputation and merit. Yeah, like we talked about with the UFO videos. You get a UFO video from a trained fighter pilot or drone operator.
It feels a little bit more like it has credence behind it.
Yeah, versus like Crackhead Larry, who hangs out behind the Walmart. Yeah, of course,
I
he's
like
seen
Crackhead
it.
Larry.
I was gonna say Crackhead Larry.
He is my friend.
He's one of my best friends.
So much good conversation.
Eyewitness testimony is better when it's coming from some sort of like first responder or professional, especially if you're an air traffic controller and you've seen these things. And there have been stories where air traffic controllers have seen the Mothman in and around O'Hare Airport.
That's interesting.
And I mean, like, to be an the rigidity of the requirements to be an air traffic controller is extremely high. Like, you have to be on your game because you're landing planes, you're controlling air traffic. There's no room there for a mix-up. If you've ever seen it in a movie or in maybe a clip of an actual control room in real life, I mean, these people are working crazy hard, spitting numbers and radio transmissions to control traffic. And O'Hare Airport is a busy airport. I mean, it's Chicagoland's largest airport. Midway would probably be the second largest, which is south of it. But here we have a what seems to be a center. Maybe the map doesn't do it as much justice, but there is a whole bunch of them right around O'Hare Airport. So here's one about a fireman. I was flying in at O'Hare Fire Station number 2 on July 4th, 2022 weekend. We were outside in the patio area talking and watching the distant fireworks display, and we heard what sounded like a very very loud screech noise. I'm reading it from a very little screen, so be patient with me. It sounded like the brakes on a large truck. We didn't pay that any mind. It was probably a semi or airport maintenance vehicle. Was the good part. Second thought until we heard the dark series of clicks, rabid, loud clicking, followed by that sound again. It was then that one of the other guys saw something and said, "What WTF is that?" We looked up to see the figure in the sky. It looked like a human with wings. It had a pair of bright orange eyes. One of the firefighters said it was the infamous Batman, and said it was seen all over the airport and the surrounding suburbs.
Well, I mean, Batman was filmed in Chicagoland, so
I'm picturing
I feel
Christian
like that's
Bale.
yeah.
Like 1 or 2 of them was filmed there.
Yeah,
but
I feel like that's
not
totally
in 2022 and
No,
not
that's
at
true.
O'Hare Airport. So one thing to note here is the large orange eyes, the large reflective eyes that are reported in this are consistent across all Mothman sightings, or at least most Mothman sightings. It always seems to be something with very large reflective eyes.
What reflective eyes?
Some skeptics would say, what did you say?
I said I want reflective eyes.
I mean, your eyes are very reflective. They're shiny. I like them.
Thank you.
Anyway, yeah, so like certain skeptics, especially of like the Point Pleasant, the original cases back in the mid to late 60s, because it was like 68 and 67, they point out that it could have been a very large barn owl, because owls have such large reflective eyes, being nocturnal predators. If you listen to these people's reports, I'm not so sure that could be the case. In Point Pleasant, you don't have the level of credibility to the eyewitnesses that you have around O'Hare Airport. And that's why, in particular, the O'Hare cases stand out to me as being some of the most credible sightings of this cryptid.
And that's a
Yes.
lot of them too.
And it's a lot of them, yeah. I mean, like, so let me click around a little bit. I was working at station number 3. I don't know if this says who it is.
As we continued to approach the location, our headlights fell upon a large black
Okay.
figure that looked like a man wearing black clothing, except he was at least 8 feet tall, super thin, and had a large pair of bat-like wings. It took off into the air and was gone within a second or two, and we lost it in the night sky.
So as a part of the normal routine, we take engines to get fuel at the maintenance yard. So, you know, this is some sort of worker there. This isn't just somebody passing by. It's somebody familiar with the area, whether or not they're...
At Fire Station 3, that's a fireman once again.
Well, it doesn't say fire station, does it? It just says work at station number 3.
No, up at the top. Above that. No, just look up.
Oh, okay. I'm covering up
Yeah,
part
yeah.
of it. So this is why I appreciate you reading it, because I don't always know what I'm missing here.
No doubt.
Apparently, the first Mothman sighting was
Yeah.
actually in West Virginia.
West Virginia?
Yeah, it's Point Pleasant, West Virginia.
Yeah, and it was in 1966.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. That's a long time ago.
Yeah.
60s, huh? Does that... does that correspond, like, timeline-wise to when the Jersey Devil and legends of that ilk were coming about, I wonder?
Jersey Devil goes back way further. I
Okay.
think Jersey Devil goes back to like colonial times,
Oh,
like
God.
early like witchcraft stuff.
It's
I could be
horrifying.
mistaken, but I'm
No,
pretty
I
sure.
think you might be right. That actually makes sense.
The Chicago Tribune also did a whole article on sightings of Mothman in and around the Chicago area.
Well, and I have a few of those pulled up. The case of the Chicago Mothman. This is from 2019. This is NPR. Again, it's kind of fun to always point towards our closest thing to state-run media that we have doing reports on these things. And yeah, it talks about the Point Pleasant cases. The Silver Bridge is what it was called in 67 collapsed. So they say that sightings stopped after the collapse. Now, I'm not so sure that has anything to do with the Mothman being some sort of heralder of doom, as much as it is people have something else going on in their lives now. You know, they're not looking up for Mothman necessarily. Maybe it's not hitting the papers the same way that it would have been when nothing else was happening, you know, in Point
Yeah.
Pleasant, West Virginia.
People don't look up anymore. They're too glued to their phones.
You're not wrong. People are. So here's just some fun drawings. The Mothman. Red eyes, green eyes, yellow eyes, orange eyes have all been reported. 6'10". So they're talking about it being very large with a very large wingspan.
Do you think it's a person that has been genetically modified to resemble that of a moth? Or is it more likely that it is some Lovecraftian nightmare that has escaped out of the horror realms solely to exist in normalcy with us?
Well, okay, so there's a lot of speculation there. I don't know that it has to be either.
Is it just a really big moth?
I
It's like really big.
to
I'm gonna
my
sleep in pantyhose again, man.
Look at
It's gonna
a great
happen.
value bank robber.
It's terrifying.
To my knowledge, the Mothman has never been reported hurting anyone. I mean, it scared people, but I don't think it's ever hurt anyone, other than this idea that it is a sign of impending doom. And I'm not so sure I buy that, because the sightings in and around O'Hare have been happening for a very long time. Or in the Chicagoland area have been happening for a very long time. And that's not the only place. Like, I just pull that out because that's what I personally know more about and I've paid attention about because I'm from the Chicagoland area.
Yeah.
And the sightings at O'Hare are also very well known and very well recorded and very well documented, and again, credible sources. So I think it's the most interesting case study to look at when it comes to Mothman. Look, it could be anything. I don't think it's a genetically engineered anything. I mean,
Not a human moth hybrid?
no, I would not favor a human moth hybrid project or anything like
Maybe
that.
that's what you saw the other night at the gas station when we dropped you off. That giant big
The
thing.
bat? Well,
Yeah.
we saw a massive
It was
bat.
very
Maybe it was
large,
really
almost.
Mothman.
I mean,
This
it,
was really high up.
yeah, it would have had to be flying very high up. We were at a gas station recently, and we saw what was a very large bat for the region we were in.
Man, the thing was bigger than my face. I thought I was gonna get lifted into the sky and taken away into Batland and eaten by a bunch of tiny little baby bats as the one giant one stood up on a rock and laughed at me like,
It was scary, or at least fascinating. So I would say Mothman falls in line with a interdimensional being. Like I would put Mothman closer to angel than I would to genetic mutant.
you're telling me.
Maybe it's like the Angel of Doom.
Well, again, you'd have to prescribe to that doom theory. I'm not so sure that I do.
What I'm hearing is that the machine elves are really, really furry.
Yeah, I mean, maybe. I think it's closer to an angel than it is anything else.
I think the one that left us the message should call in and put in what their thoughts on the Mothman.
So here's another story. There has been another creepy Mothman encounter at Chicago's O'Hare Airport. This is from October 2020.
Mosquitoes got me.
Now it is a
Told you.
little bit before Halloween, which might call it into question. Depends on what you believe about Halloween. Is it really a thinning of the veil between worlds? Because if this is some sort of interdimensional being, maybe that veil is thinnest around All Hallows Eve. What was the
coming,
case
guys.
here? This was a USPS sorting facility. So one thing you have to know about O'Hare Airport is, I mean, there's people working all sorts of jobs at O'Hare. Shipping companies, all the way down to baggage people, to, as we spoke about, air traffic control. If you ever watched Tim Pool, I want to say Tim Pool worked at O'Hare. Maybe it was Midway, but I think it was at O'Hare as a baggage guy. But so here's a case of somebody working at a sorting facility.
They also state that they're 5'4" and the thing looked 2 feet taller. I mean, I'm 5'2" and
You wanna
Chance
read
looks
this one
2
first,
feet
Chance?
taller.
Is that-
So I mean,
That's true. That's true. I'm not saying it has to be massive or anything. It's just, it's something. You mind reading it, Chance?
Which paragraph are we looking
Just
at?
start at the top if you don't mind.
Yeah, absolutely.
I have to kind of
just
squint.
Huh?
I have to kind of squint to see it on
Yeah, you're good.
OBS. So.
I had just left work at the USPS sorting facility at O'Hare Airport at about 11 p.m. on Thursday, the 24th of September, and was walking out to my car when I saw something standing at the far end of the parking lot where I usually park. At first, I thought it was a very tall person with a long coat. As I got closer to my car, I unlocked my car, which caused my headlights to come on. My headlights hit the person standing about 20 to 25 feet from my car, causing it to turn and look right at me. I saw that this was not some person, but some red eye, and what appeared to be a coat were actually wings, which it spread out as it turned to look at me. At first, I thought it was some kind of very, very large bird, but I've never seen any bird that stood almost 7 feet tall. I'm 5'4", and this thing looked taller than me by at least 2 feet. This thing then started making some type of chirping sound, almost a half chirp and half click, like someone was clicking their tongue, but much, much faster. It then made some type of screeching sound and took off running toward me. It got to within 10 feet of me and took off into the air and flew above me. I was screaming hysterically as I crouched down behind the car's open door and dived into my car head first. I was in a near panic as I tried to start the car, close and lock the doors, and turn on my interior lights. I started my car and took off out of the parking lot and flew down the road till I hit the main road. I got home and told my husband, who also works at the same facility, and he was the one who told me about the sightings of these things. I was scared shitless, and I hope I never see the thing again. This thing is roaming around the area, scaring people half to death. I hope the airport people decide to do something about this thing someday. I imagine this was written as like a strongly worded letter to the airport's manager.
This is like,
All right, Karen.
yeah, I like how it goes full. I don't even like the term, but it goes full Karen at the
I
end.
hope the
there.
airport people
Somebody should
decide
do
to do something about
that
this.
Mothman.
If you don't get the Mothman
I'm not
out of my
flying with your
airport,
company anymore.
I'll never shop at this airport again.
Yeah,
People are silly.
yeah. I mean, so that's an interesting case. Again, that common themes amongst these sightings too, the clicking and stuff like that. The other thing is it's not necessarily the most well-known thing in the area. You know, my dad works very close to O'Hare Airport, and I asked him, and he was like, "What are you talking about?" He had no idea. And he's worked real close to O'Hare for, I don't know, 30 years now. So it's not like Sasquatch in the Midwest, where this is a very tale that goes back into, like, you know, prehistory almost. It's not as well known as you would expect something to have such commonalities between the sightings. So here's air traffic controller. An O'Hare Airport air traffic controller recalls his encounter with a tall, red-eyed, winged hominoid while on the job, July 2020. I'm just clicking through a little bit to see if we see anything else.
You know what's weird is there's not hardly any sightings in the south.
Interesting.
It seems to be like a northerner thing.
You don't like the humidity, man.
It's a northerner thing?
It's a northerner thing.
Yeah.
Man, I tell you what,
These
these
damn
damn
Yankees.
Yanks and their Mothmans always coming down here.
Here's another...
I'm from Georgia. I can make that voice if I want to.
Another mailman. This is not the same one, right? No, he explains
No,
what
it's
he
different.
does. It's a different one, another mailman. I mean,
He just wants to read your mail.
these are people that, even if they're not, you know, mailman, you might not say is the most credulous person.
Hey, they're federal agents, man.
Technically, sure, but at the same time, they know the area. You know, it's somebody who works there, who at least is familiar with the landscape, without speculate. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's not like, oh, I don't know how to put that. Like, if I go up to the Pacific Northwest, where I'm not from, and I have a Sasquatch sighting, it could be a bear, you know, and I just don't see a lot of bears from that area, and I'm not familiar with what they look like. Whereas there's no way to mistake these, especially if you're from that area and you know, well, what did we call him? Crackhead Larry? Crackhead Larry likes to walk around in a trench coat with reflectors on his head.
Don't
with,
you
like,
disparage
doodly
Crackhead
bombers, you
Larry
know?
like that. He wears one of those spinny top caps.
Exactly, and that's something you would know as a mailman in the area. You would think. So I don't know. I think we could try going through a couple more here, but I think 3 UAP possible winged hominoid recorded near. This is weird. 2 family members in a Bensonville, Illinois. Observed.
Yeah, I'm not seeing any cases of Mothman in the south.
That is strange. Where does the cutoff line? Is it
Seems like
Virginia?
the south has
Here.
like chupacabra, stuff like that, but not Mothman.
Well, I don't know. This might be specifically focused on the Chicago area. Well, and there's other cryptids. You know, people don't think about cryptids in the Midwest. So I love cryptids the way, you know, you love government conspiracies, Chance. So I feel like it's a topic that I'm somewhat impassioned to talk about.
No doubt.
Ohio, they talk about the Ohio Grassman, which is like a Sasquatch. Just north of here, you talk about the Beast of Bray Road. Up close to where Lake Geneva is here, which is like a werewolf-like creature. So it's not the only cryptid in the area, but it is a very interesting one that's very, I want to say, underrated, in that it just doesn't get the press you might expect from it. Like, there's been UFO sightings at O'Hare.
Yeah.
There's one where they see something, traffic, and again, we're talking about air traffic controllers here who need to be sober as an eagle, with just as good of eyesight, have seen UFOs hovering over O'Hare and shoot up and punch a hole through clouds. That was one big case back in, I don't know exactly. I want to say sometime around 2013 or something like that. But so there's been UFO sightings. Is there a connection between the UFO sightings and Mothman? I don't know. Most of these stories
what if he's an alien?
Maybe, but never seen with his ship?
What if he don't need a ship?
Is this like a Denver airport kind of thing, where we're talking about some sort of
tunnels underneath the airport?
Underneath O'Hare? I'm not sure the airport's maintained enough to have tunnels, to be honest.
Has he dug
his
own moth-shaped tunnels? I mean, that's interesting, though. I mean, with the UFO connection, it's curious.
I was coming up on the road between the exit after leaving work. As I approached the curve by United Cargo, I noticed about 8 security vehicles that had gathered around. As I approached, I saw something fly over the fence and head towards the runways. It looked like a giant man with large wings, but I only saw it for a second or two before it was gone. I actually got out of my car and tried to take a picture before it flew out of range of my camera, but within a second or two of me getting out of my car, I had somebody yelling at me to get back in my car and get the heck out of there. I did as I was told and left. As I was driving out, more security vehicles were showing up. I decided to report this when I saw that other people were coming forward about what happened that night.
Interesting.
Lost camera.
Oh.
Sorry, slight problem with the camera. It will be fixed. Yeah. So, speculation between you guys. What is this? Is this an alien? I mean, we already talked a little bit about what Mothman is, but is it connected to anything else? Why is it drawn to O'Hare Airport? Why is it drawn to Chicago?
I almost feel like it's some kind of religious thing, like a demon or angel, or I don't know.
I don't know. When it comes to cryptids, in a legitimate sense, I'm of the mind that they are all just like natural beings of the earth. Like, they're just like weird creatures that we don't have the knowledge of.
I would agree with you I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, you're good. I don't quite know where the O'Hare connection, like why that area attracts it. I honestly couldn't really tell you why Point Pleasant attracts it. I mean, it opens up, if Mothman is a harbinger of doom, he shows up at events where, and I know you're not necessarily leaning into that idea, but just talking back on it, if he's ending up at events where there are exponential possible loss of human life or things like that, does that indicate that possibly there is something nefarious going on at O'Hare that is causing him to be sighted there that's just not made aware to the public?
Well, that's the concern, right? Yeah, that's just my personal opinion, that Mothman is not connected to doom necessarily.
I like his little skeleton. He looks like an ant.
Yeah, somebody did good with that.
His eyes terrify me.
Yes, they are a bit scary. It'll be in my nightmare tonight.
I would tend to agree with you. Most of the time when I think of cryptids, I think they're undiscovered species. Sasquatch, I don't lend a lot of credence to Sasquatch as an interdimensional being, or that Sasquatch is some sort of extraterrestrial. Although there are certain reports that connect the two. I tend to believe that Sasquatch is an undiscovered and very limited species.
He's limited edition.
There's been numerous hominid species that we've talked about a couple of times already that have walked the earth. That we can look back and go, maybe they're not missing links, but they were cousins. Maybe we carry their DNA with us, like Homo neanderthalis, Neanderthals. If you're Caucasian, if you're white, there's like a very good chance that you have about 1% Neanderthal DNA in you. I do. I tested it once. I have a small percentage of Neanderthal DNA that I carry with me. So I tend to believe that that's what Bigfoot is, right? Bigfoot is just another species that's very stealthy, that exists in small numbers in areas that humans don't travel much and travel less and less all the time. But this doesn't fall in that category. It doesn't seem to me to be something that could physically exist as another species, especially given its capability of flight. I always say that about thunderbirds. I struggle with thunderbirds because where are they? They'd be in the air, But just generally, it doesn't strike me as an actual living thing. I mean, obviously, it must be in some capacity, but it doesn't strike me as an undiscovered species. This strikes me as, like Jacqueline just said, something angelic, maybe a fallen angel, or something capable of traveling out of some other dimension to ours. That's where I go with it.
Creatures that live in the corners or whatever that is.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
The goofy YouTube videos, the liminal spaces and stuff. The back rooms. You're talking about the back rooms?
No, but yes, that stuff.
Same concept.
Yeah, kinda.
Maybe it exists outside of the realm of our typical
Perception.
Ability to perceive it. Yeah. We don't necessarily share our world with it. It's intersecting with our world.
Maybe we just built an airport in the middle of its living room.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe it's some sort of ancient site. Who knows? I don't know So I know a little bit about the history of O'Hare Airport. O'Hare Airport was built over an apple orchard. If you go onto like flight sites and you try to book a flight from O'Hare, I want to say call sign for it, but that could be wrong. Like, how if you go to Phoenix,
the
3 letters is PHX to go to Phoenix Sky Harbor Airport. Well, to go to O'Hare, it's ORD, which doesn't sound a whole lot like O'Hare. There's no RRD. Well, it stands for Old Orchard, because I believe it was an apple orchard, or an orchard of some sort.
Okay.
That's as far back as I know about the history of O'Hare. And that doesn't necessarily indicate anything about the Mothman. And is there a connection between what is seen at O'Hare and what was seen in Point Pleasant, or is it just some similar type of creature we're seeing?
The areas are relatively close enough.
Not really. I mean, West Virginia is a long way away from Chicago.
It's still in the same region.
Well, people report Mothman all over the world. And I don't know if that's because it's like a Slender Man, become somewhat of an internet meme. But there seems to be something going on at O'Hare. That story about the security officers, I don't know how much I buy that. Because, number one, there's not just regular airport security out there shooing the Mothman away with a broom,
They're like, we got it.
Get off the runway, Mothman! He's sucked up by a jet engine and just freaking feathers fly out the back.
God, it's the third
after that
one this
carefully
week.
worded letter, though, they might have felt the obligation
That's
that they
true.
were responsible for the Mothman.
And so they sent out a group of willing
Exactly.
individuals to
Go fight him.
Handle the fight.
They didn't want to lose business. So I get
Mothman
it.
Fight Club.
Yeah, for sure.
I like it. I like Mothman. I do like Mothman. I'll try to dig into it some more. Maybe we can revisit it at some point, because specifically at O'Hare. I really like that, and I'll see what I can find on it. We'll revisit it. So hopefully that answers your question, Cody. Yes, we have opinions about the Mothman. If
Still
you
think
can't
it's
tell.
a northerner thing.
Damn Yanks and their damn giant moths.
You guys, you know.
What do you mean?
Guys,
We
you
got
guys-
the big moths.
We're just regular guys. We got the Mothman.
He hangs
get,
out at the bars on Sundays.
Yeah. We're gonna go to see the Mothman over at O'Hare. We're gonna just sit there for a little while till we see the Mothman. Something like that.
We like to watch security shoo him off the property.
You sounded very Canadian.
Well, it's even I struggle with that. Being from Chicago, sometimes I just sound like I'm like from Wisconsin if I try to do a Chicago accent. So I gotta get in
Accents
it.
are not my forte, but I'll do them anyway.
It's hard to do them on camera, like the pressure's on. We were goofing around in the car the other day doing them, but regular guy, you know. Gonna go see the Mothman at O'Hare for a little while. You guys want to go get some Italian sausage?
Yeah, is Mothman gonna be there?
Go to see the Mothman.
Is he gonna
Anyway.
be serving me the sausage?
So I say we open up calls at this point.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
why I didn't want to open them up. I did have a
No, you're
lot.
good, yeah.
I had enough there that I wanted to go through it a little bit.
Absolutely.
So if you do want to call us, I'm opening up lines as we speak here. If I can find the tab, because I am drowning in tabs. Okay, calls are on. Feel free to give us a call.
That number is gonna be 85732 D-dial. That's 857-323-3425.
That's right. And in the meantime, if you wouldn't mind, thing.
Oh God! Oh!
All right, here we go.
All right, can we do it? I don't know.
This anymore.
2, 1.
What's the little bell mean?
What?
Like, subscribe. What's the bell?
It's a notification. It's a
Notify.
notification
Hold on,
bell.
run it again. All right, guys, we got it this time. You ready?
Want to run it
Let's try.
again?
Like, subscribe, notify.
Yes, please. And please, like, it really is one of those things. We're just starting off, so we do need some. We've got some algorithms and some uphill battles. So if you can, like, subscribe, all that stuff, and share, it does help us out.
We appreciate you just watching us, but we double appreciate everything on top of that.
Yes.
Yeah, for real. It gives us some dopamine hits and tells us we're doing a decent job at a minimum. If you're on Rumble, whatever the equivalents are for like, subscribe, please do. I'm really hoping that Romo pulls through for us because you know, Chance has mentioned it before. There's some spicy stories that we're afraid to talk about on YouTube.
We think we might get just schwacked right off the platform entirely.
Especially when we hit conspiracy stuff, like Mothman's no problem, but there's some conspiracy stuff we'd love to dive into, and
especially more modern conspiracy stuff that is difficult to dive into without being charged. Like, as in politically charged. I don't mean charged criminally.
yeah, we might be able to talk about like the JFK assassination, but you know, that's no big deal now. There's a lot of modern stuff we'd like to talk about more, but
No doubt, no doubt.
I was going somewhere with that. I lost it.
Rumble.
Don't you hate that? Yeah, well, Rumble. Yeah, I like Rumble.
Well, we can talk on our forum.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like
that is
our socials.
The
Yeah.
forum is a big one actually. If we dive into that, you know, we want you guys, if you have stories, if we're not on air, if you wanna get in touch and have a way to present something to us and you're not able to make it on air, feel free to dive in there and get on posting and write your story there. You know, we offer picture support, video support. We're gonna have embed support very soon. It's gonna be cataloged, that way things aren't gonna disappear off of it. We're not gonna remove posts that aren't outside of our terms of service. Obviously anything inside of terms of service we're gonna have to deal with, but as long as you're not doing anything there, we'll keep posts up and make sure that that catalog doesn't get
Well, and the great thing
drifted
about
into the annals of time.
our website is self-hosted. We didn't just go out to somebody and build it. We built it. So, you know, we control it. It's a fun place for us to kind of set our own rules, and it's really a fun place to talk to people without having to be dependent on some other social network. I mean, we'd love to hear from you on any one of the big social platforms. You'll find us on just about all of them under either Dark Dial or darkdial.tv, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or X, or even TikTok. We got a TikTok too. And we've been releasing some fun clips and stuff like that, trying to cut stuff up from the show. But the forums really are baby right now. Love to get some people on there, and it serves as a great place. It's an archival space for us to, as you were saying, we're not deleting anything. Everything stays up, and the way the threaded conversation works, we can do research with you in a way that is pretty hard to do anywhere else. So we're excited about it. We hope it works out. We also got a Discord that we're gonna be releasing invites to at some point.
That is gonna be, yeah, it's gonna be currently beta testing the idea of having Discord invites linked directly to forum registration. So once you verify your email on the forum, it'll send out a Discord invite to you through an automated system. Not 100% sure that we're going to be able to get that implemented in a reasonable time frame. If we cannot, we'll go ahead and just open the Discord server up and get links out. Probably, I would imagine, maybe disperse them on the stream to our viewers, things like that.
Yeah, it's not... honestly, the Discord hasn't been our biggest priority because it's not something we can self-host. It's as much as it'd be nice to build a community on Discord, it's even better to build a community on something that we're hosting ourselves, which is where darkdial.com comes in. But the Discord could be a fun place, especially for voice chat.
Absolutely.
It doesn't have quite the archival capability that darkdial.com as a forum does. But, you know, everything kind of, you know how chat works. Kind of just goes away in the wind of the chat. So, anyway, give us a call. 857-323-3425. That's 857-32-D-Dial. Give us a call. We'll put you on air. If you got any cool stories, just comments, just want to call and chat, want to tell us how pretty we are.
Or if you know Crackhead Larry and you want to talk about
Get
how
him
cool he
on
is.
the line. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, we've got some chat real quick.
Chat, yeah.
We got Rec Thoughts, a new UFO conspiracy channel. Randomly found you after watching FNT. Guess it's a podcast kind of night. We absolutely are that. You know, UFOs, cryptids, conspiracies, the supernatural, paranormal, anything we can get our hands on in that vein, we're absolutely definitely taking a stab at. FNT, I don't know if I am familiar with the channel. Would you mind filling me in on what that is?
Is there a talking goldfish in it? Just so you know, REK, we've basically done the show. We're just kind of in our call-in portion right now. If you do want to watch it, it's going to be archived. So this is really just episode 2. We're just getting off the ground with this stuff. But tonight we went over some more UFO footage, a number of different UFO videos hosted by what's the name of
the All Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, a new governmental organization designed to catalog and take reports of all UFO sightings that are non-civilian pilot and non-military personnel. They seem to have not the
Okay.
yeah.
Hey, I love Y-Files,
That's funny.
I'm ready to check
Friday
out this
Night
new one.
Tights by Nerdrotic.
Nerdrotic,
Okay. Okay, I've seen his channel. I don't think I've seen that show. I'll have to give it a look. Right on. But yeah, we are Rec. If you do have any thoughts or anything that you're interested in discussing in the vein that we've been talking about, we are call-in show. Our number's on screen. You can get us at 857-323-3425. That's 857-32-D-Dial. give us a call, and we are more than welcome to talk with you if you're interested.
We were just going on and on about our website too, darkdial.com. We got a cool forum set up that we're going to try to do some cooperative research with viewers and a community, hopefully. Yeah, we were also talking about Mothman tonight, which I love Mothman. Good stuff.
I'd like to
Should I bring
see
the Mothman picture back up?
Yeah, that
I feel
Mothman
like-
picture's good. I can't stop staring into his eyes directly. It's been holding my vision for the past 10 minutes. It's bad.
What I need to do is here. Let me put the call now on it.
We found this delightful picture of some Mothman anatomy. His skeleton over there is really my favorite. He looks like a strung out ant, and I like that. I like that a lot.
You know what we need to do is get that volume of books, that like encyclopedia of unknown stuff we have. You have over
I'll
here.
bring
That'd
that
be
over.
awesome.
I'll bring that over. I actually just found that out on the porch the other day as I was combing through some stuff. So that's good timing you brought that up.
That'd be fun just for certain reference. It's just fun to pull out a book sometimes.
No doubt.
I,
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, did you thought you heard a call?
No, I was gonna say something off tangent.
No, at some point I'd like to do like a deep dive into JFK stuff, just based off of my prior knowledge to
Yeah.
it. But that's one I got to take that one seriously.
No, that's almost an entire episode. That's how I feel about the gate stuff. I'd really be
Yep.
interested in talking to that, but it's so schizophrenically disconnected.
Yeah, it's gonna require a specific episode just dedicated to it, as opposed to us kind of going back and forth.
Mhm. You have any wild, wacky, 4-hour-long topics you want to discuss?
I'm glad we got to touch on Mothman tonight.
Yeah, I
No
like the
doubt.
Mothman. I'm sure I can come up with stuff to talk about. That's
Like the
weird.
gremlin you're holding.
My little gremlin.
Yes, this is George, and we're not sure if he's actually a dog.
The
I don't think
hellhound.
so. He's a creature of the unknown.
Creature from another land, I tell you what. Well, I'll tell you, I do have for next week some more stuff on the Flight 370 that I'm gonna get compiled. I have a couple more videos and an entirely different lane to take it down. That's gonna be really interesting. It almost discards the things that we've seen and learned about the footage so far in favor of a completely different theory that also has some. Oh,
I think we're getting a call here.
sounds like we are getting a call.
See what we got going. Pause the jams.
Call from.
Marty.
Oh, Marty's
Press
calling
1.
again.
To send a voicemail, press 2.
Let's talk to Marty. You guys ready?
Yeah.
Audio? All right. On you, Chance. You got the mic.
Hello, Marty. Welcome to Dark Dial.
Hey, Chance, how's it going? How y'all doing tonight?
We
Doing
are doing
good.
phenomenal. We appreciate you tuning back in and giving us another call.
Well, yeah, I was sitting around doing a whole lot of nothing watching Ancient Aliens and thought I would just check in with y'all.
I can respect that. Was that man's lovely hair on display another time for us?
Yes, exactly. Giorgio Tsoukalos, he sure was.
You pronounced that much better than I ever could have.
Ah, well, I've heard him say it about 1 million times. I've been watching it since the beginning.
Ah, that would be
But
helpful.
It's kind of funny. I was looking at the phone number and where it's from, and it was really ironic. It's from Chelsea, Massachusetts. I just found that kind of ironic to myself. But another thing was we were getting gas today,
No.
and our total gas gallons used popped up on the screen, and the number was 666.6.
Ooh. So do you think the devil's in your
Yeah.
gasoline?
No, I think the devil was in the driver's seat.
Funny.
I get freaked out when I see numbers like that
Yeah.
sometimes.
Numerology's a weird one. There's repeating patterns. It's a pattern recognition thing, right? Why do
Yeah.
Omni? Why do certain patterns appear the way that they do? You know, it's things seem to appear more often than by chance should allow.
And not you, Chip.
Yeah, not me. Like
Just
the
the actual
concept
chance.
of
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
But I'm waiting for y'all to get into the Bigfoot, even though Gavin wasn't ready yet, and the Mothman wasn't as interesting as the Bigfoot. I'm waiting for Bigfoot.
But Bigfoot can't fly. Oh, give me just 1 second, Marty. We do have a
Respond to that.
chatter real quick. I caught you way too late in the show. I'll have to go back and get myself acquainted with your style. Yeah, Rec, absolutely. We are gonna be live every Friday night at
Well, it's 8 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Pacific.
8 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Pacific. If you heard it from him, you heard it from me. So make sure to stop back in. We would love to have you. We try to run, about a 2-hour show. Sometimes we go over. So, get
I don't
ready.
lose Marty, man.
But have a good night. All right, Marty, back to you.
Yeah. Well, no, Mothman's interesting. I've seen so many shows on him, I can't remember. I've forgotten more than I can remember, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, I'm really looking forward to the Bigfoot thing. There's so much on it I want to do. I don't think it'll take me too much to prepare it, but I want to try to find some newer videos, aside from like the Patterson Gimlin footage, as well as the...
Good luck with that.
What, newer videos?
Yeah.
There's a few of them. The Freeman
there's trail
footage is a
cam
big one, but that was on VHS.
Right. Yeah, VHS is pretty outdated.
Well, and honestly, it's worse quality than like the Patterson Gimlin footage, because at least that was shot on like 35 millimeter film, and you can digitalize it and zoom in on the film itself. Whereas the VHS tape, you're just stuck with VHS quality.
Yeah, I watched a video recently, and it showed a Bigfoot supposedly carrying a deer like a grocery bag in its hands. That's how big it was.
Everybody's got to eat.
He was a
Everybody's
hungry
gotta
boy.
eat. So are they omnivore or are they strictly carnivore?
I think they'd be munching on some trees, man.
Yeah,
I think they'd be munching on some
Do you
trees.
think?
I think their
Well, I know-
their diet is probably pretty close to a bear's.
That would make sense.
Well,
Yeah.
times of year they'll eat berries and stuff like that, but I would have to assume, especially with the amount of mass they have, that they eat meat as well.
Yeah, what was it they say that they're closest to? And it's a bear. I can't think of what it is, but it's an extinct bear now. The size.
Well, I don't know about
look that up.
I don't know about the bear, but there is evidence in the fossil record of a species called Gigantopithecus blacki, which was essentially
Yeah.
it was they believe
That's
it was
what
an
I was trying
orangutan
to
relative.
Okay.
Right.
That's interesting.
Yeah, that's
And they found
Gigantopithecus. That's what
they found a skeleton of that, or they found some kind of remains of that species, haven't they?
Teeth. They find teeth and parts of a jawbone. They believe porcupines ate most of the remains of those, but they did giant porcupines.
I'm scared of the pork.
Well, yeah, the Gigantopithecus is a real thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And it
But
basically is a Bigfoot in the fossil record. They're not sure whether or not it walked upright or not, but Given the evidence of the jawbones that they found, they believe there was a good chance that it was bipedal.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that'll be interesting. You'll have to get some work done and get that on here soon.
For you, Marty, absolutely.
You're the man. There you go. Yeah, and you know what's funny? The last time you guys were on and doing the Oscar Mayer thing,
Yeah.
it was kind of ironic. We were eating hot dogs at the same time, and it just so happened we were doing the same thing tonight.
Oh, that's awesome.
There's a lot of irony baked into the things that you're saying. There's layers that you're not aware of.
I gotta tell you, Marty,
I know.
we did that episode, and my parents didn't know we were doing it. They sent me a picture the next day of them with the Wienermobile. They had just been to the Wienermobile. I opened a box today for our kids, gifts for a birthday,
Right.
and in it was wiener whistles that they had gotten from the Wienermobile last week.
Oh, that's funny.
Mm-hmm.
The synchronicities never end.
On top of that, Jacqueline's friend just uploaded a picture with the Oscar Mayer
Yeah.
Wienermobile as well.
All the way in Kentucky.
Oh, wow.
It's weird. It gets around.
Yeah,
One really
synchronicity.
fast wiener.
So let's see. We were back on the flight 370 again.
Yeah, sure enough.
We can't seem to put it down.
New developments
Yeah.
just keep happening.
Yep.
Are you there, Marty?
Speaking of the wiener. Yep, I sure am. I was just looking at my pictures, and I found my picture with the Wienermobile.
Ah,
I'll be
Oh, that's
darned.
good.
2007.
You'll have to put it on our website.
absolutely. Throw that on the forum. That's too fun not to.
Yeah, I'm not sure how to do that. I'm
Gotcha.
old, so this is.
Well, I'm going to tell you, YouTube is your very best friend in this world.
Your camera's gonna
Let's
die in
see.
28
Can
seconds.
I put a picture on chat?
Technical difficulties again. Please hold.
Yeah, I figured I have to just talk on the phone and not watch the video as I talk because it throws me off.
Yeah, that helps. Yeah. We got a lot of the bugs worked out that we had last time when you were watching. The headsets kept going out
Right.
last time. We got that worked out. We're still trying to fix the camera, but
Well, let me see if 4-hour-long topics. Geez, there's so many I could probably think of over the years. Way back.
yeah, we're gonna have to do certain things as specials, whereas like these regular episodes, kind of we just hit on whatever we feel like that day.
Yeah.
Right.
There's quite a few that are going to be multi-hour efforts just to cover the basics.
I'll put out some alerts out there for our usual callers. See if anybody wants to call in.
No doubt.
Jacqueline, what is something you want
Well,
to
let me
cover?
get off and take your call.
All right. Thanks, Marty.
Appreciate you calling in. We hope to see you again.
All right, great talking to y'all.
Bye,
Of
Marty.
course.
Well, I love Marty calling in.
No doubt.
He's got the perfect voice for radio. At least to be a caller on radio, you know?
No doubt.
He's-
Absolutely.
I love it.
I think maybe a good one might be like the Princess Diana murder. Like, it was.
Ooh, I don't know
definitely
much
murder.
about that.
I've followed that since I was a kid.
That's a good one. That's a really good. That's like a whole episode one.
Yeah.
There's a lot behind that. There's a lot going on there. Yeah, that's good.
Maybe some QAnon things. There's some good things out there. I think it would also be fun to have, more people writing in what they want to hear too, so we can kind
Exactly.
of go off that.
Absolutely.
We might get some calls. I just put an alert out to some of the usual. Man in a CRT, has science come too far? I live in this CRT. They have to feed me through a VCR slot.
Yeah.
It's true.
I tried to give him soup one time, and it just started sparking, and I thought I killed him.
It hurt. It hurt. Can't do
Was the
that.
soup good though?
I mean, in a Bernie electric kind of way.
Good soup.
Like what I need to do is get like a soundboard sound effect so I can kind of like do like a like glass knocking. Knock knock knock. Let me out.
That would be good.
I love it. I don't know. I like the CRT thing. I think it's a fun thing to do, and it was just kind of a creative way for me to be able to kind of still man the show and do some of the technical stuff, but still be on screen and talking.
We'll get him the electrolytes, don't you worry.
The only thing I miss is I can't really speak to them directly unless I'm turning, which now I'm not looking at the camera anymore.
It's a problem I find. I am oftentimes cocked my head to the left like this.
And they get to look at the back of my head, so.
I could stare longingly into the camera. How's my blue steel?
Rondo.
Rondo.
Never seen. Hey, oh, you haven't seen that movie, have you? Freaking mosquitoes. Somebody in chat said we need electrolytes. It's idiocracy.
Oh no.
Like they've replaced all water with effectively Gatorade.
Oh, I really need to watch that movie. People have been
The Thirst
telling me to watch
Mutilator.
that movie. The Thirst Mutilator sounds like a new death metal band that just popped onto the scene last week.
I've heard worse names for bands. Oh, by the way, shout out. We didn't say it at the beginning of the show. Problem Bear let us use their music for our title cards.
Absolute legend.
Which, I mean, it's amazing music. Especially being instrumental, it's like perfect for it. And it's really good stuff. So if you want to check them out, you can find them on Spotify. Problem Bear. I threw it up on the cards, but
No doubt, definitely go check him out.
very good stuff. Yeah.
Looks like we've got some more comments coming through here.
Oh,
So
the number
Marty got you
33.
interested in the strange 666 gas pump thing. I'm a small-time nobody filmmaker and I pay attention to close details. You would be amazed at the number 33 in films. Well, one of these days You ain't gonna be a small time nobody filmmaker, my man. You're gonna be a big time everybody filmmaker. You know what I'm saying? That's
You know,
what I'm talking about.
here's what I appreciate about that statement. He might have said small time nobody filmmaker, but he didn't say aspiring filmmaker. Because there's no reason to be an aspiring filmmaker. Just if
do it.
if
You're
you're a
gonna do it.
filmmaker, you're a filmmaker.
That's what's up.
You know,
I respect
there's
that.
I don't like the term aspiring on stuff like that.
Nope, you're doing it.
Yep.
So the number 33 in films, do you have any particular ones you can think of off the top of your head? And if not, it's all right. But off the top of your head, if you do have any to list that they play maybe a prominent role in that you can think of,
Was that a Kubrick thing?
maybe? That's interesting.
There's some stuff in like The Shining that people point to a lot.
The number 27 has a lot of weird things.
That's the one that always gets me. So if you've ever seen the number 23 with Jim Carrey, which is a fun like
It's a good movie.
numeral what would you even call it? Numerological fixation kind of movie. But I always see 27 everywhere. And
How many celebrities have died at 27?
what's the Earth's axis? Yeah, there's that.
That is interesting. Is there any particular reason as well that you think 33 might be of particular note?
Well, it's half of like 333 is half of like 666.
Indeed.
333 is half of 6. 369. There's a Tesla quote where he says something along the lines of, if you understood the power of 3, 6, and 9, you understand the power of the universe.
Wait, what? Say that again?
There's a Tesla quote, and I may be paraphrasing it improperly, but he says something along the lines of, if you understand the power of the 3, 6, and 9, then you understand the power of the universe.
Is this real?
Yeah, look it up.
All right. Nikola Tesla's 369 theory. Tesla's private journals, which were unsealed after his death, include many references to the numbers 3, 6, and 9. He would often work on problems for extended periods of time, and during these sessions, he would jot down 369 as a reminder to himself to take a break. It was speculated that the number 369 had a hidden meaning for Tesla and that he had used it as a way to unlock mysteries of the universe. Some experts believe that numbers are linked to the Fibonacci sequence, while others believe that they are a code for a secret project that Tesla was working on. Whether or not the numbers had a hidden meaning for Tesla, one thing is certain: they continue to fascinate people to this day. Okay, so, I mean, and then there's a video about the healing power of 396 hertz.
Which is almost the 400 hertz. That's interesting, because 400 hertz is a number that has some provenance to it.
Yeah.
We've got Rec coming back real quick with it's in mini films in places you would not expect. Free Guy, 33 on the license plate. Knowing had 33 backwards. 33 goes back to Masonic ties. Jesus died at 33. It's a large subject.
It's also 33 is the numeric representation of the Star of David.
Huh.
Also known as the Shield of David or Magen of David. The symbol is commonly seen in places in other films. Lots of it used in the Bible.
I'm always afraid to go too deep into like numerological fixations because I'm afraid they'll haul me away and they'll put the straitjacket on me for good, you know?
But, I mean, math is the language of the universe, is it not? The numbers have things to say.
You can tell that to the ambulance.
They're coming to take me away.
Says in
You know
Kabbalah.
that one? That's like Dr. Demento, right? That's good stuff.
This one says Kabbalah, the number 33 signifies entry into mystery and the secret level of creation.
The Kabbalah is like an old mystical text. No, I mean the numerological stuff really does have a lot of interest to me. There's symbols. I mean, numbers are symbols. I mean, words are too, letters are symbols, but there's something more almost raw about um about numbers more than there is a word almost. They're almost more primitive in their nature. They feel like they're at a baser level than a word is. Like things just operate in the world of numbers, and we had to abstract words on top of that.
Real quick.
Completely out of my mind. And they're coming to take me away, haha. They're coming to take me away, ho ho, hee hee.
Want to get copyright
Funny fault.
struck for old Dr. Demento stuff. The GCF of 27 and 33 is 3. That's greatest common factor.
That's interesting.
Thinking we need to go somewhere with this.
We definitely
The
could.
numbers, Mason, what do they mean?
Masonic numbers. Well, I mean, like,
Yeah, the Masonic ties is interesting because I mean, 33rd rank is the highest rank of the Masons.
I mean, there's a
Rage is
lot.
chewing on his bone.
What was that?
The Masonic tie, the Masons are an interesting organization that I would honestly love to dive into more. They have they've been in and out of popular discourse for
My
decades.
great grandpa
now.
was a Mason.
My grandfather was a Mason for like 20 some odd
Yeah.
years. Yeah.
And there's a one for the women too, Star of something. My great grandmother was part of that.
Yeah, my grandfather was a Mason. I don't think he was too into it though. But there's a lot of, I mean, like a Mason, obviously, there's a lot of like Pythagorean theorem. There's a lot of math to that, so there's no surprise that there would be, a lot of numbers connected to it. Fibonacci sequence is an interesting one too.
The fact that it repeats itself so prevalently through nature as a ratio is what makes it so interesting to me. It's in so many different things without like a real reason to be.
Like I have a nautilus shell. Is it in our bathroom still? I don't know. We had a nautilus shell in our bathroom, which obviously displays that same Fibonacci sequence, that golden ratio, I believe they call it, right?
Sure enough.
Here's some examples of it in nature.
Sacred geometry often follows fractal-like patterns of this nature. They may not necessarily be the Fibonacci sequence, but the Fibonacci sequence isn't in and of itself a fractal. It's like a repeating, self-replicating pattern, right? And when you look actually at stuff like the Kabbalah, like you mentioned earlier, there's a lot of sacred geometry references inside of old mystical texts and things like that, almost as if they are like it was identified a long time ago that the way math intersected with the world could be mapped out in a way that provided like insight beyond the normal perceptive veil.
That was deep, man.
Was it?
I feel like that was something. Deep enough you lost me a little bit through it. Maybe just because I'm trying to steer the ship here a little bit. It'd be nice to get one more call before we go offline here.
No doubt.
Again, please call us. Anything you want to talk about.
But if not, we do have a lovely picture of a pine cone we can continue staring at.
Can I offer you a pine cone, sir?
In your trying times, please take this pine cone as a sign of our
Pine cone
gratitude.
in your trying times?
Well, fractals, man. Fractals, if we're on this math train here, fractals are interesting. Everything just repeats itself spiralingly into infinity. I mean, you can like look at the smallest levels up to the biggest and they all look like that. Why do they all look like that?
Well, I don't know, man. Like fractals, some of the math behind some of that gets me because it's like, you ever heard about the math for a white hole?
Oh, what?
A white hole.
No. I haven't heard the math on it. Not really.
Take the math from a black hole, reverse it.
The event horizon speeds up time?
I don't know, but it's a white hole. The math is there for it, but whether it exists or not is all pure speculation. Now, there's absolutely no proof of its existence. It might just be a beautiful piece of math that you can invert the math for a black hole. But they weren't really sure about whether the black hole existed or not before, it was math before it was actually proven.
I think everything that we can identify via math exists. I think if the math for it checks out, it's a real thing. Everything in this existence speaks the language of numbers. Everything except for us.
You don't think that there can be mathematical mirages? That there can be things that exist in math that can't exist?
There can because you can have faster than light phenomena, but you cannot move faster than light. If you had a strong enough light source.
Time out, because that's a presumption. We don't think you can.
No, you can have faster than light phenomenon. I'll tell you how. Phenomenon. It's not an object moving faster than light. It's information being transferred faster than the speed of light, and it's a really, really interesting thing. But
that goes against what you just said. I said, can you have a mirage in math that doesn't have a physical representation in the world? And you said, yeah, you can. But a moment ago, you said,
yes,
I think everything in math
because
exists
it is
in the
a
world.
mirage. Because let me explain to you how it works real quick, and you'll understand what I mean.
No, we're gonna fight.
Take a sufficiently powerful light source, shine it at the moon. Okay. Now take your hand and run it over that light source. You have now moved the shadow of your hand. The appearance of something moving faster than the speed of light has taken place, and that is a mirage because nothing has actually moved faster than the speed of light. You cutting off that light and moving your hand, the edge of the shadow of your hand will move across the moon faster than the speed of light. Or any sufficiently large surface with a sufficiently projected shadow. And there's also ways to make the edges...
Wait, why would it move faster? Wouldn't it move at the speed of light?
It's going to move... if you have... And I don't know if the moon is a good representation of this, but the way the math checks out is if you have a sufficiently large enough surface and it's sufficient distance away, and you have a strong enough light source that you can project a shadow and see that shadow on that. Say it is exactly 1 light year in distance. Okay, you have a block of wood that is 1 light year in distance and big enough that you can see a projected shadow on it.
I just realized.
No, you're good.
Yeah.
And big enough that it can see a projected shadow across it, right? So 1 light year of wood. If you then take your hand and move it across that shadow, your shadow has now traversed that faster than a light year because of the angular, the exponential angular velocity that your shadow's getting because it's moving as a projection across a much vaster distance than it's actually moving. And you can do the same thing if you get a sufficiently long enough surface and you move it downwards sufficiently fast enough against a parallel surface. And you can make the edges, the speed at which the edges cross, appear faster than the speed of light, but they don't actually travel faster than the speed of light. It is like the contingency of the points, like the ratio of what's being moved is moving faster than the speed of light. It's like the combinatory factors that are at play cause the appearance of something being transmitted faster than that speed. And I think that is absolutely the mirage you're talking about. It is the appearance of something that is not actually being represented.
I don't know if I can believe you or not.
I will link you to the science. It's real. I'll put that up on the show archives as well because it is an interesting topic.
There was a lot you were conveying with words, and not a lot that my brain was processing. Like I'd have to have that like literally drawn out in an animation on a clever
That's how I saw
YouTube
it.
channel.
That's exactly how I saw it, actually.
Yeah, that's exactly how I could conceive of what you're saying because the words don't allow me to properly conceive of it. So, you ever heard of Earth Moon Earth transmissions? Because it just reminds me of this.
Bouncing lasers
like,
back and forth.
Yeah, somebody. REK says it makes sense.
He gets me. Hey, this man gets it. What's up? That's what. Yeah, my man.
This guy is Crackhead Larry hanging out behind the airport with his doodly hat.
My doodly hat's been stolen.
Yeah, Earth Moon Earth transmission. So in ham radio, you can use the moon to bounce shortwave transmissions off of back to Earth. So you could communicate on areas of the Earth that would be hard to propagate throughout the ionosphere by bouncing the signal directly off the moon back to the Earth with low enough frequency, like shortwave transmissions, which is pretty cool. Hecklefish. We're just gonna be in Hecklefish's shadow for.
It's okay. We've got a man trapped in a CRT. All right, he can't escape. Pay no attention to the man behind the camera.
Now I just proved I'm here. Now the feds are gonna be after me too.
Oh.
Maybe we need a hecklefish. But we have a heckle Gavin.
I don't want to make a hecklefish. We get sued by what's his name?
Oh my god.
He's got a history in media.
Oh.
That was okay. So we all like Y-Files here, right?
Mm-hmm.
No doubt. Good channel.
How no hate at all towards Y-Files. I love it. I like to watch it.
I watched
The stuff
every
we're-
episode.
Yeah, the stuff we're talking about is the same kind of media we consume. So, we're just kind of. It's a circle.
Yeah, it's all niche enough to feed back into itself in this vicious, horrifying, conspiratorial feedback loop.
But there's a conspiracy about that, about the Y-Files guy being like a intelligence plant, right?
There is that, and that might be something interesting to talk about. Maybe, I don't know.
I mean,
I don't know if we
he
want-
kind of came up out of nowhere.
It did kind of come up out of nowhere.
Maybe. They let him say things.
Well, they let the fish say things. The fish gets away with saying the truth.
Rex says, no, do your own thing. I agree.
Yeah. Yeah, we're trying to do our own thing.
We want to interact and talk and discuss.
Yeah, that's very much the difference between something like this and what is like a Y-Files that are standalone videos. You don't get the opportunity to build a community around what you're trying to do. Like, yeah, they do have somewhat of a community, obviously, but we want more direct interaction, hence the call in, hence our forum. So it'd be more fun to research with people than for people.
I do like researching with people. Because then I can bounce my crazy crackpot theories off of other people and they can agree with me, and boy, does it feel good.
Hey, Rumble viewers, how you doing there? I love you. Keep it up.
We love our YouTube viewers.
Hey, should I do
too,
the
don't
thing? It's
worry.
been a little while since we did the thing, right?
Do the thing. Are we doing the?
We're doing the thing.
The whole thing.
We're
doing
how
the
do I do
thing.
the thing? I forgot how to do the thing. It's not in that
Oh
shot.
no.
Doing the thing. We're doing it. Boop. Oh,
Subscribe, notifications.
did the thing. How do
Shameless-
the weathermen do it? I
shameless
don't
self-promotion.
Never
understand.
point in the right areas. I don't get it.
You gotta do it here. I'm gonna try to do it from here. Try to do it right.
Like, subscribe, notifications.
It's really hard to do.
Well, you're inside of a TV.
Yeah, everything's harder inside a TV. Chance, change my bedpan.
Careful, I'm gonna change your channel.
No! Just fall into a black existential abyss.
No, I'd send you straight into the static wood chipper.
Not there. There's gremlins there. Interdimensional DMT elves.
And I need you to make peace with them so they can tell us their secrets.
Please.
It's your mission.
All right.
Choose to accept it.
I'll see what I can pull out of the static ether. The interference pattern that is a snowy CRT.
Yeah, I'm in math. I think there are a lot of illusions that present themselves inside of math, and I think there are a lot of physical phenomenon that present themselves as those illusions. But I think there is a way, not necessarily to see past them, but I think there's a way to work past them. And I think that's what we see when we see things like white holes where the math it checks out, but we haven't found one. I think we've worked past the illusion and we have just yet to observe it.
Maybe. I don't know that it's an observable illusion though. I think that it's a mirage in the math, not in the physical world.
CRT man and Static Boy at it again.
That's what they used to call me.
You?
Hey, you're CRT boy, I'm Static Man. CRT man, Static Boy.
Yeah, whatever.
Are you both
Crisscross
CRT
that.
man
Run
and
it in.
Static Boy? How can you be your own superhero and your own sidekick?
I'm just that good.
Is it like Two-Face?
How it works in the TV, man. I don't know what to tell you. You don't know what it's like in here.
I don't. And I'm glad. It looks stuffy and blurry.
Mm-hmm. It is. Smells like farts.
Oh, stop farting.
Not
What
me.
personality?
It's the static gremlins. Good God, this is going off the rails. I don't know. Do we end this?
Oh,
Never.
I was kind of hoping Cody would call back if he saw us covering the Mothman.
Mr. Mothman caller, if you would, call back in so we can discuss the Man of the Moths with you.
Attack of the Gremlin. Attack of the Gremlin.
Oh, he's not even a dog.
No.
Well, he's several different species at once, but none of them are dog. Oh,
Living life in 480p.
That's pretty good. It's 480i, thank you very much.
yeah, but his
That's a good
refresh
one.
rate is higher than ours could ever dream to be.
That's true. It's almost instantaneous. That's how you beat all those NES games that require frame perfect stuff.
Do you think the
George,
Static
you're
Gremlins
not
play
bald.
NES games?
I happen to know they do. In fact, it's what they do most of the time. Like, it gets kind of annoying. Yeah.
Sorry.
Don't make me bring out the scan lines.
You don't even know what scan lines are. I was born in scan lines, okay? Raised in them, molded by them. Yeah, you're fine.
You're good.
You're fine. We can probably end this stream. I don't know. It's fun talking to people a little bit, though. You ever see the Mothman Prophecies movie? And Fire in the Sky, both loosely based on true stories. Yes, CRT is now progressive interlaced. Yep. Yeah, it's interlaced. Very interlaced. Crazy technology, honestly. It kind of baffles me that cathode ray tubes, like if you tried to produce one today, I don't think, I mean, I guess you could, but nobody's doing it. You'd almost have to start from scratch to create a production facility for them, because I honestly think they're a whole lot more complicated, and the science is way more interesting than something like, an LCD screen. I've seen Mothman Prophecies. Fire in the Sky, I have a vague understanding of what that is. I seem to remember that, but I have not seen that one. I like Mothman Prophecies. I think I have it on VHS on the shelf
Yeah,
in
I
the
think
other
we do.
room. We got a pretty extensive VHS collection. Go figure. given
I like my VHS tapes.
setup you're looking at, but yeah, we have some fun with that. But yeah, Mothman Prophecies, I like that. It's been a while though. I've never read the book that's connected to it. The guy who did the research on the Point Pleasant Mothman, and then subsequently wrote that book, and then the movie comes out based off of it. So I have no idea how close the movie is to the book. Travis Walton story. Okay, yeah. Yeah. I'll have to check that out. Make a note of it. That was the
What's he do? Really? He stole a Sprite bottle.
really
This dog's a terror.
good movie, but it takes liberties. The Fire in the Sky or Mothman Prophecies? The Travis Walton story, if I remember correctly, that's the one about the logger, right? Whose buddies watch him get abducted. If I'm remembering that right.
I've not seen either of these movies, I do not believe, just as a heads up.
Yeah.
You haven't seen Mothman Prophecy? I think
That's
we
the
have
nature
it
of movies.
on VHS.
Right on.
Yeah, Mothman Prophecies is fun.
Oh man, speaking of VHS, real quick, did I tell you guys I picked up the special edition like collector set of the Twilight Zone on VHS the other day?
That's fun.
cool.
Pretty sick.
Did you get it at the bookstore?
Yeah, sure enough, sure enough. They have the best stuff.
Twilight Zone's great. I mean, my introduction to that was always Sci-Fi Channel did the Twilight Zone episodes on like New Year's.
Back when
So like
Sci-Fi
every New
Channel
Year's
was
they
good.
played for like a week. So I would just like that's in my childhood. I remember doing that on a number of New Year's Eves, just staying up late watching a bunch of Twilight Zone.
Yeah. That's fun. That's really fun.
Northern Arizona. Yeah, I remember that. We're in Arizona, so it's definitely something we should check out. It's a good story. If you don't know that one, I need to tell you about that one
Yeah,
because
definitely.
you'll lose your mind. I don't remember all the details, but it's like logger or forestry worker. He gets abducted in front of his friends basically, and is like
Like
gone
James
for a
Garner.
while.
Yeah.
And gets dropped back off. I think he was interviewed on Joe Rogan.
Interesting.
His theory is he was injured when the craft landed, and they took him aboard to basically fix him and then put him back.
Huh.
Yep.
Huh.
Well, I always go on about like Nature Conservancy Earth, the idea that the planet to any extraterrestrials is just like, if there is intelligence there, it's still cooking, leave it be. Like, honestly, it's Star Trek, right? The Prime Directive. But I think it's even more than that. I think we're even further back. And they're just tagging frogs in a pond.
Watching us hop around.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, he was on Rogan. Okay.
Interesting. I don't
Yeah,
watch
REK
a whole
just
lot of
confirmed
Joe
that.
Rogan.
We watch a lot of Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
No, that's not true. I rarely have Rogan on. I
feel like
used to watch a
yeah,
lot.
I was gonna say
I
we
used
had
to.
it.
I used to do a tech support job from home, and I had Rogan on like all the time. What movie was it we were talking about last show with LeVay in it? There's also an alleged UFO crash in Phoenix Mountains covered by Dreamy Draw Dam. Arizona has a rich history of UFOs. If the Phoenix Lights doesn't say it all, I don't know
Yeah.
what does.
Well, desert areas in general, I feel, have a strong prevalence of sighting.
New Mexico here, Nevada.
Well, I think part of that is you can see the sky extremely well here. We talk about it all the time, how there's like a lunar clarity when you're traversing the landscape,
Yeah.
where you can kind of see everything. Whereas, if you're up north in Illinois or Wisconsin or just, pick a state, there's literally, it's hard to see, you know, the forest through the trees.
Yeah,
or
same
whatever
way
they
down
say.
in the south, trees everywhere.
Mhm.
You see a sliver of the sky right above you, and that's it.
I'm
I don't
from
know if
Houston,
that's-
there's lights everywhere.
Yeah.
You don't see the sky. It's usually like smogged over.
I don't know if that's why though. I don't know. You guys got speculations on that? Why Arizona? Why the Southwest in terms of UFO sightings?
Nuclear
Aside from
testing.
the hmm.
Nuclear testing.
Yeah, I mean there you go. That's something.
A lot of military bases.
A lot of military bases.
A lot of secret military bases.
Deep underground bases.
Boy. Dumb, for those who
I-
are unaware, is Deep Underground Military Base. It's an acronym used to describe hidden underground military bases connected by series of tunnels hidden throughout the entirety of the continental U.S.
I'd love to do some content on that. I mean, I guess we are right now, but I don't know enough about it. I feel like you would know more about that than I do, Chance.
I know a tangential amount. I would have to do a little bit more digging, but I know where to start. I know enough to start digging. That's the big
Can we do it
point.
next show? Can we
Next
do
show?
like
Yeah,
a
I can have a
little
segment ready.
dumb?
I can have a segment ready.
I think that'd be cool.
Everyone in chat want to hear a segment about the deep underground military bases, because I can definitely have that ready to go next show.
I'm fascinated by the idea.
I think it makes complete and total sense. You?
Oh yeah, I've seen it. I grew up on bases.
Now there's Denver, you know, the Denver airport, right?
Well, lots of time.
Has that connection to what's near there? Cheyenne Mountain?
Yeah, I think so.
Where? NORAD?
Yeah, NORAD's in Cheyenne
It's
Mountain,
the
right?
Cheyenne Mountains.
And
It's my
that's-
front yard for 7 years.
Yeah, what a complex. Jim Morrison's got connections, I think, to that area. Like, I think that's where I want to say, and I may be wrong. God, I may be wrong on this. I think that was where his father was stationed.
Fort Carson or where?
Like in the Cheyenne Mountain. I don't know exactly which.
Why
There's
can't
Army
I
and
can't type
Air Force
true
there.
apparently.
Very Twirl.
I did it
It's
twice.
Touray.
I swear I watched it autocorrect.
Just say it's voracious.
It's very it's a voracious claim. I'm just gonna say it on
Veracity,
stream.
voracious- No, not voracious. Veris.
I can look like an idiot on chat replay. I don't care. Jim Morrison? What? Where are you
Yeah.
coming out with this?
His dad was like a high-ranking officer in one of the military branches, and I believe he was stationed up at one of the areas near the Cheyenne Mountains.
There's the Air Force
Really?
Academy,
I
Peterson
think it
Air
was the
Force
Air
Base, which is the space base now, and then Fort Carson, where we were at.
Yeah, Morrison's got a lot of weird ties. There's a picture of him. His dad was like an admiral. I want to say maybe in the Navy, maybe the Air Force. I don't know. Something high up, like high up enough as an officer that it raises eyebrows. You know.
You know, I had the tunes off for the calls. I realized I should put them back on. If you do want to call and you're out there, we got like 15 minutes in us.
Lines open.
Lines open.
It's a dial. A dark dial.
The darkest of dials. What do you guys think about Mount Shasta?
I don't know much about it. I know the name, but you're gonna have to elucidate me.
I could use some more research on it too, but it's generally considered a site of mysticism, site of a lot of UFOs, a lot of weird stuff, like some sort of global point of what's the word I'm looking for?
Convergence.
Help me out.
Like a ley line.
Kinda, yeah, but like just weird stuff goes on there. It's spooky. It's a woo-woo place.
Shasta's on your radar, huh?
Mount Shasta.
me.
I think that's
Looks like we're not the only ones interested, Gavin.
Yeah, okay.
Is that California? I want to say it's California. Isn't
Yeah,
that
it's
the
in
mountain
California.
that the mountain in Grand Theft Auto is based off of? Yeah. Yeah, it is. The Grand Theft Auto 5 has a mountain that has a bunch of
No
conspiracies.
way.
And it's Mount Chiliad, and it's based, I'm pretty sure, off of
From
Mount Shasta. Is this like
Wow.
outside of LA, roughly? Somewhere outside of LA? Like north
No,
of it?
it's like central,
It's in the
far
desert?
north California.
In the desertish though, or is it in like the mountains?
No, it's so the inland valley that exists in California. It's like to the very north peak of it.
It's
And
a place
to
of
the mountain range.
spirituals. Oh, sorry.
Significance for the harmonic convergence.
I said convergence.
I went to
That's
the
the word
one
I
in
said.
Sedona when I went
Sedona.
on that mom thing, the retreat thing a couple years ago.
Sedona is a strange. There is
It's-
an energy about that
definitely,
place.
100%.
That is not a normal place. I've been through there. And
What are we?
it
Wait,
is
time out. What are we talking about? Can we give it a name?
Harmonic convergence.
No, Sedona, the one in Sedona.
Oh, I'm not sure.
It's a
There's
mountain?
multiple places that you can go that are super spiritual in Sedona. We went to a few. I cannot actually remember
It's
the
because
names.
everybody
at the moment.
in Sedona is a crazy hippie.
It was absolutely stunning, but you actually could feel the energy change. I could feel it.
I believe it. Sedona's a There's something about that place.
There was this gorgeous Buddhist temple that we visited. There was a part of one of the mountains there that we did too. Yes, the vortexes. That's what I was trying to think of, but my brain would not think of it.
I don't know if you saw that, Cameron, in chat.
Jim Morrison was an officer's brat rebel in the 60s. Seen lots of him. Nothing mysterious about him.
See,
I don't know.
I'm right there with that.
I don't know, man. That, especially you start listening to the later years of Morrison's music, and there's something funky, and it may have just been that he was absolutely blitzed out of his mind on LSD, and that's where all the weird came from. But
Do you have association with Timothy Leary?
I'm not sure.
Because, I mean, they were both kind of pushing drug use in the 60s, right?
In a different way, though.
But so was the feds. Like, the FBI was pushing LSD, right?
Was Leary a Fed?
I think Leary was a fed.
I was just reading about the LSD thing. It's weird that you mentioned it.
I think that's
You know, right?
They call this the Arizona Vortex, is what I found. Spiritual Sedona. Got in Sedona vortexes. The Sedona vortexes are so-called energy centers of the Earth.
Interesting.
Here's another
I'd
comment.
Stood in a turn-of-the-century medicine. Oh, that's... Can you elaborate on that experience?
Yeah, that's of me.
I'm not quite sure. I'm not quite sure I understand. I'm sorry.
On Bureau of Land Management. BLM, Bureau of Land Management? Black Lives Matter?
I just don't know what a medicine wheel is.
Yeah,
I just
don't know.
pictured on someone chewing on like a wagon wheel, and they looked up and they go, aspirin.
A medicine wheel, also called sun dance circle or sacred hoop, is an ancient or sacred symbol that was used by many tribes. It signifies Earth's boundary and all the knowledge of the universe.
Interesting. They're the Park Service. Huh.
We'll pull this up for the sake of being a completionist in this 4-hour show. There we
Native
go.
American
Medicine wheel symbol.
wheel made of stones and Bureau of Land Management. Also, energy supposedly has a very large concentration in
Orgone. That's that rock, that very interesting material that started popping up a few years back, isn't it? If I'm not mistaken.
This says, is it pronounced orgone?
I'm not sure.
Is a pseudoscientific concept variously described as esoteric energy. That's your favorite word. You
Do
use
like
esoteric a lot. And hypothetical universal life force.
So they're talking to me about like dark matter, right? That's like the mystical name for like dark matter, or like.
Well, check this out. Check this out, because what's the tube things that the Russian guy made?
Oh,
Kinda like
the
that.
aluminum.
Yeah.
Uh,
You usually take sheet aluminum and like. Lifehouse did a thing about it.
yeah, you like lay in them and.
I know what you're talking
Cannot
about.
think of the name of it.
There's also there's an interesting, and this is something I'll have to dive into. There was a chemical in, I want to say the 70s or 80s. There was a guy that used it to make a pair of glasses. And this particular chemical, when you put the glasses on, you were apparently able to see like an energy field around people. This chemical
Auras.
was then promptly banned by the government for production forevermore, and you cannot get it anymore. Like it's like permanently, like you just
see
can't.
people's energy.
Yeah.
There's an X-Files episode where the dude takes this picture of like a brain slice. You know how sometimes they'll take thin slices of like the head to show like the anatomy of the human
Yeah.
brain from like a slice. And he was showing how like, oh, it still had like, I mean, this is X-Files, so but it's also a real thing to some degree, where it's like photographing people's aura is the concept. But I'm very skeptical of these glasses.
I'll have a little mini segment for us next week about them, because there's not a lot on them, but it's interesting. The chemical has some unique spectrographic properties. It does bend light in very, very interesting ways that aren't commonly seen.
But you're telling me the chemical can't be made? Like anytime they're like,
no, it can be made. You can't. It's like illegal. It's like illegal for it to be made now. Yeah.
See, anytime I hear a story like that where it's like, okay, this thing existed, but it doesn't exist anymore.
Semyon Kurlian, is that? I think Erratikish Fitness.
Semyon Kurlian.
Eats.
Semyon Kurlian? Is that how you say that? What is this? Oh, this is the aura guy. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you, Erratikish.
I appreciate you. I read this story a long, long time ago.
No, I think this is the one I was talking about for like the aura photography. The one you're talking about, I'd be interested in. But I'm skeptical of any time something existed but doesn't now, or like you had access to it but you can't have access to it now.
You can
So it's
can still make it. Like the processes on how to make the chemical are out there. Like you can get it.
How could it
You
possibly
just-
be illegal to make then, unless it's a controlled substance?
I think it is, but I think it's like controlled by like a biohazard, like you can't go out and buy sarin gas, right? I think it's controlled in the same way like that.
What's their justification for that?
I don't know. Whatever they wanted in the 70s, probably.
I don't know. We got to do some research.
Yeah, like I
on
said,
that.
I read this story a long time ago, and I'm gonna have to find some more detail that just kind of triggered in my memory as we were talking about this.
These are really cool photos.
Mm-hmm.
He was responsible for the torn leaf experiment.
Huh.
I think that's where they could image like the other side of the leaf.
Oh, there's a leaf.
There was a lady in Sedona that read auras.
Huh?
Yeah. It was interesting.
I want to know more about the torn leaf experiment. Because that's cool stuff. Thank you, Erratikish. I would have just kind of given up on fighting.
What?
Yeah, look
Huh?
at that. Look at that.
What? No. That's not real. That's not real. That's not real.
Uh-huh.
That's not real. That's not real.
It's real, man.
No. What am I seeing? What the fuck am I witnessing right now?
He tore a piece off the leaf and then somehow still pictured its life energy.
How is this not like the most looked into field of science at all, period, like ever? What is that? What are we seeing? What is that? I'm freaking out, man.
It's pretty cool.
I'm freaking out, man. What the fuck?
The phantom leaf effect. It says the images are fake.
So Sedona also has aura photography. It's pretty neat. In the 70s, UCLA tried to look into it, but it was shut down a few years later. Then Rex said, dude, nature will blow you away, just like a double slit experiment.
Oh, the double slit experiment. Absolutely.
No, we're not
hurts
going
my
there. We're not
brain.
going there. We're
Come
4
on.
minutes away from the end of this podcast.
Oh, yeah,
we're not going
that's
into
a-
quantum
Oh.
superpositions.
Oh, that's a whole thing. Collapse of the wave function, man. That's what it's all about.
I like where you're going, but I can't.
Oh man,
Not-
this
not-
Curlian stuff is. I'm gonna have to look more into this. I did not. I don't know how. I did not know about this.
Well,
but I did
some
not.
of this is saying it's fake. So, like, what I just pulled up said it was fake. So, Carillion photography. Yes, this is exactly
I'm gonna
what I was
photograph
talking
my
about.
aura.
Oh, this is wacky,
Electrical
man.
coronal discharges. It's very cool. Whether it's like a real phenomenon or not, the photography itself is very cool.
Oh, it hurts my brain. Unsupported parapsychology laboratory. Okay. Starting a parapsychology laboratory.
Let's do
I have
it.
decided.
You just want to? We could just declare this the parapsychology laboratory.
All right, this is the Dark Dial Parapsychology Laboratory.
Give us funding.
I'm gonna be stuck the rest of the night.
They
looking
pump
into all
electricity
this.
through it.
Funky. This
Yeah,
is
we're-
really, really weird, and
Well,
I don't know how.
Considering we're ending on this, I say we do a little research. We'll come back, and
yeah, absolutely.
next Friday we'll go straight back to this. Is it's? I mean, we'll kind of set up a mini segment in the beginning of the show. Yeah, I'll see what we can
appreciate ya.
find. I don't know how much of it's bogus that it can actually like picture missing limbs and stuff.
Oh man, if it could though, that's
Images created by Curlian photography might depict conjectural energy field or aura thought by some to surround living things. Carolyn and his wife convinced that their images showed a life force of energy field that reflected the physical and emotional states of their living subjects. They thought that these images could be used to diagnose illness. In 1961, they published. So, I mean, the guy thought it.
read the first paragraph under Torn Leaf Experiment. That gives me a little less hope about this being the very last sentence that kind of strikes fear into my heart.
Go ahead and read it, Chance.
The whole paragraph?
Yeah.
A typical demonstration used as evidence for the existence of these energy fields involved taking Curlian photographs of a picked leaf at set intervals. The gradual withering of the leaf was thought to correspond with a decline in the strength of the aura. In some experiments, if a section of leaf was torn away after the first photograph, a faint image of the missing section sometimes remains when a second photograph was taken. However, if the imaging surface is cleaned of contaminants and residual moisture before the second image is taken, then no image of the missing section will appear.
So it's probably just some residual bacteria,
Cells
or
shedding off of the
Yeah.
leaf, you know?
some sort of material left on the plate. Maybe. Cool though.
Very, very cool.
All right. Well, I think we're gonna sign off for the night.
Yeah, I believe
Again,
it
if
is
you-
that time, unfortunately.
If you're watching, it just played the like, subscribe thing, and I didn't even trigger it. But if you're watching, please do like, subscribe, all that fun
We would
stuff.
greatly appreciate it. If you enjoyed what you saw, it would be a great boon to us for you to do that.
Erratic is just theoretically, it's supposed to capture what life energy is left over. If you wipe the surface, you can get rid of everything. I think that's why the UCLA project was shut down.
I'll
Interesting.
definitely be looking more into
Yeah,
it.
we'll come back to this with a fine-tooth comb.
Are you wiping away the life energy?
How long would it stay there otherwise?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. So I mean, we'll be back next Friday.
Same time, same time. It's gonna be 8 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m.
Yeah, it's 8
Central.
Don't question it like that. It makes me question it.
Questioning it.
It's 8 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Pacific. We're on
We don't have
Twitch
daylight savings time.
YouTube.
It's hard.
and our favorite Rumble. Although YouTube's a close second, Twitch is just there for us.
It's there.
You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, X, TikTok, and most importantly, darkdial.com.
And do make sure we are going to have all the links, all the videos, everything that we've talked about on the show tonight and shown you. We're going to have it
Thank
linked
you.
in the show archives. We're going to have one for every episode, so make sure you stop by, check in there. We'll also have some extra stuff that we weren't able to put in the video as well. That's just going to be some bonus footage for the people that do download that, so we greatly appreciate it if you head over after the show and check out the archive.
You were much more enthusiastic than I was. I feel like we're 4 hours into the stream and I was like, yeah, we've got like a Facebook man. You could like it, or
If you guys could like
you could
press
like comment.
button, I think they might be like maybe right here and like right here. And like one might be right here.
Like,
Over there.
like right there.
Yeah. and
Oh, there it is. Bam.
There. We'll get this.
But we do appreciate everyone tuning in.
Yeah,
thank you for
thank
being
you.
with us here
Thank you.
tonight.
Thanks for talking to us in chat. You
Of
know,
course.
That was
We're-
super fun.
That's what we're all about, is that interaction. So the more you guys do that, the more we'll be able to talk about things and talk with you. Keep it up.
All right, guys. Have a good night. We'll see you Friday.
See you
Next
Friday.
Friday.